Now an afternoon of live racing in the saddle at Newmarket and on the long and winding road to Portsmouth.
Today is the day when we see if Locksong has speed to stretch. In the July Cup, the fastest horse in Europe takes on the best at 6 furlongs rather than 5. Hello everyone, and today is also the day when the Tour de France becomes the Tour de Hampshire. The world's best cyclists on a 113-mile round trip from Portsmouth to Winchester to Andover to Basingstoke to Alton and back, some 5 hours in the saddle, and they started at 11:15. We'll be bringing you updates live throughout this show. But of course the centrepiece, the July Cup, with Locksong, whose trailblazing style has caught the imagination once again this season. But can she catch the judge's eye at the end of this uphill 6 furlong here at Newmarket? And many of us believe the likes of Barathea, Catrail and Owington may well spoil the show this afternoon. A third of an inch of rain overnight, a very heavy thunderstorm at about 7:30, and that has produced good going here this afternoon. Good going, and 5 races live, starting at 2:05, which we have 8 two-year-olds going there over 7 furlongs, 7 in the 1 mile 7 furlong Bahrain Trophy at 2:35, 11 go in the TNT Aviation Handicap over a mile. Cameron Highland is out of that one. The July Cup is over 6 furlongs. It's a Group 1 status, has 85,000 to the winner, and Locksong has 8 rivals now that Risky is out. And finally, a real wallet buster at 4:10, 20 go in the Ladbroke Bunbury Cup.
When it's hot and sunny, these beech trees provide a welcome bit of shade. In the pre-parade ring behind me, the horses just walking around. They're going out in race number 2, and it's lovely and quiet over here. The parade ring just there, the action just the other side out on the track. Now today, during the afternoon, we'll be keeping you up to date with cycling's big event of the year, the Tour de France. Yesterday, an estimated 1 million people lined the route. We'll be going live throughout the afternoon here on Channel 4 today. Back here at Newmarket, Dial Your Duo gives you 3 chances of winning £100. Pick 2 horses you think will finish in the first 3 in the July Cup. We'll give you details of how you can enter shortly. And what about the news on the champion jockey Pat Eddery, who suffered what looked a nasty-looking injury before the start of yesterday's big race? Just before the stalls opened, Eddery's mount Glattisand reared up and threw him over the back of the stalls. He was immediately attended by the doctors and stretchered off the course before being taken by ambulance to Addenbrooke's. Well, the good news is there's nothing broken. He's only got a badly bruised leg, and he will be coming back to ride at York tomorrow. And because Pat is out today, it means John Reid takes over from him on Piccolo in the big race, the July Cup.
First race, 7 furlongs, 2-year-olds, 8 of them for the Child and Company Superlative Stakes, over £9,000 to the winner. Here's the list from Graham Good.
And the 6-4 favourite is number 1 from stall 1. That's ridden by Willie Carson. That's Fahal. Star of Gold at 20-1 with Richard Quinn. Astrolabe 16-1 with Darrell Holland. I Should Coco 7-1 with Brett Doyle. They're from stall 3. Unanimous vote should have been ridden by Pat. Now Walter Swinburne deputises. 5-1 the odds on offer from this horse coming from stall 5. Drawn 8, Fleet Hill, a 6-1 chance with Frankie Dettori. Drawn 4, Musetta, 20-1, Michael Roberts. And drawn 6, the Jotter, a 6-1 chance with John Reid. That's the lineup. They're down at the start.
The sun's come out. We have a glorious afternoon down here at Paddockside, and down at the start, the horses gathered, and those who've been watching them are Jim McGrath and John Francome.
Yeah, we've also had a walk down the course, breath, and the rain that we had last night's just eased the ground slightly. Absolutely perfect conditions. And the horse that we're looking at here now, Fahal, well, he couldn't have done any more than he's done so far. He's had 2 runs and won both of them, and the last time he won up at Newcastle, well, he won really convincingly, quickened up well inside the final furlong. That was over today's trip of 7 furlongs. Nice big horse with plenty of scope.
Whilst he was undoubtedly impressive in terms of form, he hasn't really achieved a great deal. And although he's a major contender here, he looked a pretty short price in the betting. Just might be a little bit of value in one or two of the others. Unanimous vote is already installed. He's still a maiden, but he's run with credit on all 3 starts. Walter Swinburne riding for Richard Hannon. John Fleet Hill, filly. I thought you and I disagreed about her appearance. I thought she was quite attractive. She's not one that particularly took your eye.
No, she didn't. She just lacked a little bit of size, and there were 2 or 3 others that certainly I preferred strictly on looks, and one of them's there in the darker colours, I Should Coco. In fact, while we're talking about picks of paddocks, etc., let's have a look at the eye catchers, because we went for I Should Coco. The jotter just looked as though she'd lost her way a little bit. Unanimous vote got Gigi's vote on the way to the post. Star of Gold didn't, and in the betting ring, well, it's all one-way traffic for Hal. Let's join Graham.
And Star of Gold didn't get the vote going down at the start. She took a fearsome hold going down. Star of Gold did, he did. Right, through the first furlong then, and it is Star of Gold who went freely to post. The green colours on the left of the picture, sharing it with the black sleeve jacket. Musetta, Fahal in blue runs a rail. I Should Coco with that one. Then the jotter racing prominently, yellow colours Fleet Hill, and tucked in behind them is Astrolabe. And they're through the first furlong and a half, and it's Musetta running the rails with Star of Gold. Star of Gold and Musetta 1 and 2. Fahal the far side of I Should Coco, and the jotter the green cap. A length back to unanimous vote, and then comes Fleet Hill and Astrolabe already flat to the boards. Darrell Holland, a couple of winners yesterday. We're going to have to work on Astrolabe if that one's going to get competitive in this listed race. Come down to the 3 furlong marker and the leaders. Star of Gold in the green, the jotter with the green cap nearest to us, and Musetta the far rail just being asked to go. And it's the jotter going into the lead now. Fleet Hill in yellow comes through for second. I Should Coco behind that. Unanimous vote pulled wide. Left of the picture, black sleeve jacket getting closer. The jotter with the lead with a furlong and a half to go. To unanimous vote, the outside of Fleet Hill. Fahal won't be winning. Neither I Should Coco, a furlong to go. And the green cap on the far side, the jotter is now taken on by unanimous vote. And Fleet Hill, who's rallying with the red and white striped cap. And inside the final furlong, it's unanimous vote going on. Unanimous vote just shading the jotter, who's rallying up towards the line. Unanimous vote, the jotter. I should say Fleet Hill wins it from the jotter. Unanimous vote back in third, and then came Fahal back in fourth. I do apologise about that. Fleet Hill is the winner, number 6 in the colours of Mrs. A.V. Ferguson, trained at Upper Lambourne by Mick Shannon and ridden by Frankie Dettori. Second horse home is number 8, the Jotter, this one ridden by John Reed, and third was number 5, unanimous vote, ridden by Pat Eddery. There's confirmation of the result. The black and white stripes, Fleet Hill, this one ridden by Frankie Dettori. That is his 135th winner of the season. The Jotter nearest to us in the green cap, and back in third place is unanimous vote. Fleet Hill the winner from the Jotter, and unanimous vote back in third. And it's unanimous vote on the left of the picture coming through there, Underwater Swinburne, and it's Fleet Hill in the red and white striped cap that's come through to take it. The Jotter the inside, and these 3 are clear of the chasing group. Fleet Hill gets the vote, and homebred by Mrs. Anne Ferguson, the 13-2 winner of this Child Stakes.
Well, this race changed complexion several times in the closing stages. We join it with just about thereabout in the dip. John, the Jotter stole a march here, and I thought she just might last out up the hill.
Well, she's improved through going over an extra furlong, no doubt about that, and I couldn't have been further from the truth having looked at her beforehand. You are absolutely spot on. You liked the look of Fleet Hill, and she's come there with unanimous vote. These 2 ran at Salisbury, and they run almost to the pound. And I just thought that maybe the Jotter still at this stage had a little bit more left in the tank. John Reed just beginning to get to work on her. But it's Frankie Dettori in amazing form at present. So 3 winners here yesterday afternoon. He knows exactly how to ride this course. And although it looks absolutely easy, riding a dead straight course, and I can tell you from experience, it's a whole lot more difficult than riding round a course with a bend in it.
And there is a steward's inquiry, but as they pass the post, Fleet Hill wins for the Tory, the 13-2 for favourite. It did open 5-1 on the course and tucked 7-1. The runner-up, the Jota, an 11-2 chance, back down from 8-1. And the third unanimous vote was sent off at 5-1, with the fourth for Howell, the well-backed 6-4 favourite, from 2-1. For that Fleet Hill with a dead 8, a lot of betting shop punters will be on each way to Tory. They'll be rewarded at 13-2. A bad result for betting shop managers.
Well, let's take a look at the closing stages. If you back for Hull, the favourite in blue colours, you're probably well aware you didn't get the best of runs. Willie Carson now just checking back behind Star of Gold, and the horse also hanging a little bit with him. And you see Willie, what we call it, on one rein. He's using his right hand, hardly using his left hand at all, as though the horse is leaning a bit one way with him. Once he's got out, he doesn't in fact find very much. Probably the interference occurred just a little bit before that. He's now drifted back a little bit into the rails. Didn't look to get a great run at the time, John, but equally didn't think it cost him a winning chance.
Certainly not. It didn't go anywhere, really. I mean, just plugged on at the same pace. And certainly if you'd back for Hull, then you'd be very hard pressed. In fact, you'd be struggling to say you were robbed. Have a look at a slightly different angle. He's out there with a run, and normally you'd expect this horse to be galloping on and maybe catching them hand over fist, but he didn't really go anywhere. Maybe he's just had a couple of races on a very firm surface. As Jim said, he was always hanging throughout that race. But let's not take anything away from the winner.
He's actually hampered I Should Coco in the closing stages there, Willie Carson, as his horse has come across right at the death. Maybe that's another reason they're looking at it, but there are no problems with Mick Shannon's filly. She looks to have won entirely on merit, quickened up well, and Shannon with a winner. It's always good copy, but first we'll take the SP.
First, number 6, Fleet Hill, returned at 13-2. Second, number 8, the Jota, 11-2. And third, number 5, unanimous vote, 5-1. Number 1, Farhull, was the 6-4 favourite. The tote pays £7.50 for the win. The place is £2 exactly, £1.60 and £1.50. The dual forecast came to £23.40 and 8 ran. It's a steward's inquiry.
Winning trainer Mick Shannon, we're just talking about turn the form round from Salisbury, but it was a different sort of race, wasn't it, Mick?
Yeah, it wasn't many runners, and they've crawled at Salisbury, and everybody's waiting for everyone, and it was a bit of a sprint, and we've tried to lay it at the back door. As Frankie says, we got it right, boss. Got it wrong, boss, he said.
And Frankie didn't say any worries. We've looked at the film, it looks as if it's entirely to do with Willie and
yeah, he didn't say anything. She looked to run straight enough to me, I don't know.
Now, Mick, 24 two-year-old victories so far this season. Is that something you always like to do, to get the
That's not
two-year
counting the ones abroad, is it?
Oh, no, add them all through.
No, we didn't set out to do it, but they seem a nice bunch of two-year-olds, and that's the way it's worked, you know. I mean, early on in the year, I thought to myself, well, they're either all right, these lot, or we're in big trouble. And as it's worked out, it's gone the right way for us, you know.
And you've had your ups and downs with viruses, like every trainer has, but the team are pretty healthy at the moment, Never any problems?
We get a million problems. Every trainer gets problems, but we've been lucky that we haven't got anything too serious. And you know, the horses have held their form. You know, I mean, they've kept running pretty consistent all year. You know.
And the Shannon team has said it's consistent. It's continually going upwards. Now, you set your sights high. I mean, you're going to go right to the top of the Shannon team. Let's be blunt about it. You want to go to World Cups as a trainer, yeah?
Well, you know, I've played at Hartlepool, you know. It's far nicer to come to new markets and Ascots rather than to Warwicks and Bath. All due respect to them, but I mean, that's what it's about, isn't it? You want to have a go at the best, whatever sport you're in, and I'm no different to anyone else if it comes to that.
And you're upgrading pretty fast. I mean, how long?
Well, we're trying to, yeah, obviously, but I mean, but that depends on the pockets of your owners and how much bottle I got at times. Let's put it that way.
Well, is there plenty of bottle? You're enjoying the game, though, clearly. Yeah,
I mean, I've got a very good staff that works very hard behind me. It's, you know, I mean, all right, the buck stops here, but I'm only as good as Lorna and Jim and Leslie, all the people back home that make it work. And, you know, I've got hundreds of people that, you know, same hundreds, but they work very hard. It's not just me, we all work hard.
I remember talking to you years ago, you said that you were at Salisbury watching, just a watcher then. You were sort of talking about training just vaguely, but
Well, I
how
had a stud,
strong
didn't
was
I?
the feeling you're going to do it?
No, I didn't. I mean, I stumbled into it from the stud side. You know,
Yeah.
I was breeding a few horses, and you know, I mean, we were sort of breaking horses and messing around, and getting them cantering. In the end, I mean, and I had nothing to do. I mean, I came out of football, and I thought it was the end of the world, you know. And I thought one morning I better get off my backside and do something. And I enjoy doing it as well. I enjoy getting up in the morning and being involved with young people, and that's what this game's about, really. A lot of young people working hard.
And youngish horses, a youngish horse in Piccolo, going to pitch at it.
He's a nice horse. We can't win on the book, but he does nothing wrong. He's very consistent. And he's a very unlucky horse, but let's hope we have a bit of luck this afternoon. We've started not bad, let's put it that way.
Mick, congratulations.
Thank you.
Made
Pleasure.
Piccolo pick for you.
Thank you.
That's Piccolo in the July Cup for Mick Shannon. And the glory days very much coming for his stable. And a glorious day here at Newmarket. Stay with us, much more excitement on Channel 4.
Indigestion. It's a bit like swallowing a rhinoceros sideways.
It was a great relief, really, to come across.
Ready Rapids.
Well, I liked them because
they've got a nice fruity flavour to them.
Tangy.
They do taste good.
Everybody says if you've got indigestion,
the pain do ease with Rapids.
It's tangy, it's fast, it's Rennie Rapids.
Words can't describe new bird's eye fish cuisine en croûte.
I'm in a world of my own. There's me and my Magnum, and that's it.
I feel aggressive and relaxed, all at the same time. That first bite, when the thick chocolate cracks.
Suddenly, I think I must have a Magnum right now.
I find myself a quiet corner. It's very private.
And it's all mine.
Muller rice, a satisfying blend of cool, light dairy rice with a delicious serving of fruit. Eat a Muller rice and give hunger the heave-ho.
If you're about to buy a mobile phone, the way to avoid slipping up is to go to People's Phone and check out which of our 12 tariffs is cheapest for you. People's Phone, where talk is cheaper. For your nearest shop, call 0345 10 11 12.
Sun Alliance has some good news for you if you're a safe driver. Like this chap, for example. He's got a 3 years no claim bonus, no driving convictions, and drives a low annual mileage. This lady's a safe driver too. So's he, so's she, and so's he. Just like these motorists, you could save over £50 when you switch to a Sun Alliance Safe Driver policy. For an instant quote and news of a free gift, call Sun Alliance free on 0800 300 800. Qualify, and you'll no longer have to subsidise drivers like Mr. McEvil. That's 0800 300 800. Lines are open now, or see teletext.
There's always the sun.
welcome back to Newmarket. These are the flowers which adorn the coveted winners' enclosure here at the July course, and looks like quite a few petunias there. Don't they make a colourful sight? And it really is lovely. This is the best time of the year. Just sit back and enjoy the flowers that are blooming.
After the steward's inquiry, actually it's still going on, but the first three not affected in the first race. So Fleet Hill 13-2 beats the Jota 11-2, and unanimous vote 5-1. The result of the first three stands. Now there's been no steamers over all 3 days of the meeting, nothing outstandingly well backed, and it's much the same today. If you look at the tissue in the 305, they're going 4-1 each of two. That's joint favourites of 4-1. Wintercote and Loxana, 11-2 Periphas, with 7-1 the top one, Ham and Eggs for Leicester Piggott, 9-1 Paeonic. The price is brought in, of course, because number 7 Cameron Highland is a non-runner. Now, there's a huge divergence of opinion between Hills and Ladbrokes in the July Cup. Now, obviously, the firms want to go the bigger prices, a horse that loses, so they lay it in the morning, and under the odds against the horse that turns out to be the eventual winner. That's really good business. So let's look at the caption to see the difference between Hills and Ladbrokes on Lock Song, for instance. Now, Hills go 15-8. They won't be laying her at that price. The biggest price in the village this morning on the morning line, Ladbrokes 5-2 against Lock Song. They were also the biggest with Owington at Burlington Bertie 100-30. Hills were only 3-1, but Hills are opposing Sheikh Mohammed's pair, the top two, Barathir and Catrail at 5-1 and 9-2. They're 7-2 and 100-30 with Ladbrokes. So Ladbrokes opposing Lock Song and Owington. Hills are against Barathir and Catrail. Let's look at the tissue, and the forecast was Lock Song in at 9-4 favourite, and round the offices, round the country, she'd be odds on. The public horse, all the firms report, the public money has been for Lock Song. Huge opposition, though, to her on the track. 3-1 Owington, 7-2 Barathir and Catrail, and 14-1 Dolphin Street, and 16-1 Mick Shannon's Piccolo. In the Bunbury Cup, they go 6-1 Belfry Green, 8-1 Rock Symphony, 9-1 some money this morning for number 12 Kaz Barn, in from 14-1, 10-1 Storritz and KV, and 12-1 Honor Tondor, last year's winner for Leicester Piggott. But round the country, you're on Lock Song. The bookmakers believe she's going to be like Jim Peters at the end of that 54 marathon. She'll be staggering coming up to the final 100 yards. Will she?
Can't quite make out what their sort of arm motions were meant to be imitating. For a moment I thought it was a sort of manic Tour de France, but perhaps it was a jockey. Anyway.
No, it's Jim Peters, bruv. You remember as he was staggering around the track at the marathon?
Yeah, Jim Peters. You could put 3 Jim Peters inside that blazer. And that person may have the right idea. Let's get into Dalio Duo. Dalio Duo, it's on the July Cup today. You've got to get 2 out of the first 3. Don't forget to get 2 out of the first 3. Select them and then call 0891 404 505. That's 0891 404 505, and 3 £100 winners to be announced before the end of the show, after the tour riders have got back to Portsmouth.
Plenty of time before the next horse race, which gives us a chance to pay our first visit of the afternoon to the world's greatest cycle race, the Tour de France, which once again is taking place in south of England today. And as they're going around Hampshire, I suppose the Tour de France could be the Tour de Hants. Anyway, this is how the leaderboard looked after yesterday's stage. The Italian Flavio Vanzella took over the yellow leader's jersey after winning the 4th stage from Dover to Brighton. 2 Britons in the race. They're going well, both in the top 20. Sean Yates lying in 9th place overall, and the Olympic gold medalist Chris Boardman in 17th position. This is what they're on today. They're already on their way, well on their way, on the 113-mile 5th stage, which starts in Portsmouth and ends in Portsmouth. They should be just over an hour away from the finish. Let's get the latest news now live, joining Phil Liggett.
And the situation now, the riders have just passed through South Harting, the 4 leaders. The gap is coming down. It was once 3 minutes. It's now 1 minute and 35 seconds. We're watching here in the lead from the Italian Lampre team, Marco Lietti, the only member of the 4 who's ever won a stage in the Tour de France. And just behind him in the yellow there, another Italian, Giancarlo Perini. His 9th Tour de France, by far the granddad of the 4 in the lead here. And he once had a great finish when he was 8th in 1992 overall. A counter-attack is coming from the field. So the field now are beginning to react very much indeed. The TVM riders now are starting to go onto the attack, and I think that this rider who's come up into the lead, it looked as though it might have been, in fact, Bart Voskamp, breaking away from the field for TVM. This is the crowd as we look down now on the town of South Harting, and it is indeed Voskamp who's launched an attack. He sensed that the hard work being done by the team leaders team, that's the team of Flavio Vanzella and indeed second placed overall Johan Museu, that they have done their job of bringing the race back into contention. He's now trying to take a flyer.
Well, they're a very good team, the TVM squad. They're always looking for a move to try and get away and win a stage. That's why Rob Harmeling went clear yesterday in that little group of 4 riders, and today they're trying to do the same. Voskamp is a new rider on the scene. He's actually won a stage of the Tour of Spain earlier this year. Very good rider, but at the moment you can see the field speeding up, so I don't think he's quite got the gap that he needs.
Well, the race today has absolutely flown around the Hampshire and Sussex countryside. They're way up on their original schedule. They're about 8 minutes ahead of their best time expected today. And just look at this little climb. I know this climb very well. It really is a hard one. Well known by club cyclists in Hampshire and Sussex as they cheer the 4 climbers up it coming out of South Harting. We're heading now off towards Rowland Castle. They're about 22 kilometres from the finish. 22 miles, I beg your pardon, from the finish, and that is going to take them now around about 50 minutes at the speed they're going, although the wind will be unfavourable in the closing miles. Perini always at home when he's on the climbs, and wants Lietti now to come through and keep this pace going. They know now, Paul, that they are getting to the most crucial stage of the race psychologically.
Well, definitely, because now is when the main field is starting to speed up, and these riders realise that the main field behind will be travelling at something like 50 kilometres an hour, 30 miles an hour, and these riders' average speed will only be around about 40 or 45 kilometres an hour, so they could get pulled back very, very quickly. In fact, they're getting information all the time that the gap is descending rapidly.
Lietti, followed by Pascal Hervé in his first Tour de France, won a stage of the build-up race to the Tour de France in France, the Dauphiné-Libère race. Now we go back to the field. They're on the same climb now, so the gap is coming down dramatically. And the crowd here, as along the route, I think we've probably added another 30 or 40% of spectators onto the course today. Absolutely tremendous, and struggling now, Bart Voskamp, as the field is slowly pulling back in. But from now on down to Rowlands Castle and into Havant, the roads stay very narrow. They duck and they dive. They're perfect for attacking riding, but the riders must stay vigilant because they are quite dangerous in the tightly packed bunch. They're very narrow, there are a lot of spectators, and the riders must keep themselves out of trouble as well.
Definitely, which is why all day today we've seen Miguel Indurain riding near to the front to keep out of trouble, because he knows that the slightest deviation from a line could take him down in one of the corners there. Voskamp, well, it was a good try, but you've got to be a very strong man to escape the main field when they're flying along towards the finish here. Vanzella doing exceptionally well. You can see him just in the middle of the picture there, but on his left shoulder, coming into second position on the road there, is Miguel Indurain. He has not left the top 10 places all day.
Well, he has been very, very impressive today, and I think he knows now, after yesterday's finish in Brighton, there are a number of Spanish people here, and they are all here to see Miguel Indurain. Most of them are students here in Britain. They couldn't believe their luck when they found that Big Mig was riding the Tour de France in Great Britain in the next 2 days, and maybe he's trying to create an impression. But he's called his team up too. You can see the similar coloured jersey. He's got 3 men, including himself there. The MG, or the GB-MG team of the race leader, anxious to keep the pace high and to keep the chase on. And I think that this breakaway will actually fail.
I think they will, because the speed is coming up all the time, and in fact now the GB team have actually slipped back a little bit, but 1 or 2 other teams are starting to become present. There was a Polti jersey there, the yellow and green jersey of the Italian squad of Jamaluddin Abdjajaprov. They're moving to the front. The Once team are moving to the front as well, so there's going to be a general acceleration, and with 1 minute lead that the 4 leaders have at the moment, with 20 miles remaining, it's going to be very tight to stay clear right up until the finish line.
Flavio Vanzella, the first time he's ever led the Tour de France, riding in second position like a true leader of the race, but they can all see him.
One man we've not seen a great deal of in the Tour this year is actually Tony Romigo, and I heard it was said that he actually visited the race doctor yesterday and he has a little bit of a problem with his knee, so maybe there's a psychological game going on here between Miguel Indurain and Tony Romigo. He says, well, if the Swiss guy has got a little bit of a problem, I'll show him that I'm in fine form and I'll stay near the bunch, stay at the front, and just to show him there's nothing wrong with Big Mig.
Well, he's also had another problem as well, Paul, because he changed the bicycle as he was coming away from Petersfield about 15 minutes ago, and so perhaps he's not having quite the comfortable tour. that we thought he was, and waiting for the time trials to come. The field will spend quite a bit of time in trees today as they go through a very beautiful part on the Sussex-Hampshire borders, racing down now towards Rowlands Castle and then on to Havant, but I know there's another huge crowd awaiting, and so too in Rowlands Castle, the scene of the last special sprint of today's stage. But just to tell you that right out at the start today, the climb of Farlingham Avenue, coming after just 5 miles, is won by the King of the Mountains leader, Peter de Klerk. He's done enough today to take back the polka dot jersey when the riders return. So we have 4 riders out in front at the moment. They're losing their time gap, there's no doubt about that, but then again, so was Cabello yesterday, and he survived to the finish, and the bunch could see him. They misjudged the strength of that Spanish rider yesterday. But we have 4 riders in the lead now. As far as we know, the gap is now down to 1 minute and 20 seconds, and they have about 18 miles left to go. It's going to be a good finish for sure.
I know that road, but I didn't fancy trying to bicycle as fast as that. You see the paddock empty here because the horses are down towards the start for the Bahrain Trophy. First up to date with the result from Redcar.
The 220 won by number 2, Vitrina Bay at 10-1. Second, number 1, Grey Toffer, 6-1. And third, number 11, Hong Kong Future, returned at 50-1. Number 5, Bezirgan was the 2-1 favourite and 11 round.
We'll be back with the closing stages towards Pompey in about 20 minutes on the Tour, but here they're going down to this 1 mile 7 furlong start, long old hall right down by the Cesarewitch start. For this, the Bahrain Trophy, there are £10,000 on offer to the winner. There are 7 runners, and here's the list.
Headed by Alaflac, an 8-1 chance with Willie Carson. Daron 11-4, Mick Kinane. Power 25-1 with Michael Robertson. Red Route also 11-4 with Willie Ryan. Summit is ridden by John Reed. They're the 9-4 favourite. Troy's Dream 25-1 with Dean McEwen. And completing the lineup, Shonara's Way, ridden by Frankie Dottori, teamed up at 8-1. Runners to post for the Bahrain Trophy.
The eye catchers, what's caught our team's eye in the paddock? Red Route, the Cecil horse caught their eye. Red Route there, going down Summit. Summit and John Reed look best cantering down. In the ring, Alaflac has been strongest supported, and Summit hasn't got too many friends down where McCrick lives. And we've got a clearance, as you may have guessed. The result stands in the last race. Result stands that, and let's have a full confirmation of your listed result from John Tyrrell.
Thank you, Brough. The 205, the SP once again. First, number 6, Fleet Hill, 13-2. Second, number 8, the Jotter, 11-2. And third, number 5, unanimous vote at 5-1. Number 1, Power Hull, was the 6-4 favourite and 8 round.
Well, this is a fascinating race with some progressive 3-year-olds running over 1 3/4 miles on what's reasonable ground, as has been the case in several of our fields this week. Different types of horses in opposition. You can just see the swinging action there of number 6, Troy's Dream. Certainly doesn't move particularly well.
On the right, a picture there is Power. This horse by Bustino went down to the start looking as though he'd appreciate a little bit more cut in the ground. Very powerfully made horse this, and ought to improve as time progresses. Plenty of strengthening up left to do.
Power, a St Ledger entry. There are 3 of those in this particular field. Sorry, 4 of those in this particular field. Daron, Power, Red Route and Summit. I was at Doncaster when he ran, Johnny. Certainly a horse that's going to improve with racing, isn't he? He's a big, powerful animal.
Yes, as time goes on, I could see him just filling out and strengthening up a bit. He still just looks a little bit on the weak side, but considering, I'd say, what's a cut in the ground, then he's a horse who ought to go on improving and strengthening up. Well, Daron's a horse I've seen win on both of his last occasions, put in a really good effort to win at Salisbury on the at the first time of asking, where he had to dig really deep because Pearl Kite was in front, looked as though she was going to absolutely bolt up, and Daron stuck his head out and galloped on, just caught her right on the line. She went back to, or he went back to Salisbury, and won a slightly easier next time up.
Beautiful day here. Sun, almost shimmering scene. If you can't actually see that from the stands, say that would be inaccurate because they actually go out of sight here for the first half mile. But if you're looking from or down the course for any distance, certainly all rather hazy. Oh, there in focus, proper focus is our favourite, Summit. A little bit uneasy favourite, quite a bonny individual. This by Sols out of Reltop. He's related to Stayers on the dam side, and even though Sols is more of an influence for speed, the sire, of course, of Lemon Souffle, there's no doubt that Summit is very much a stayer. Third last time out at Royal Ascot in the Queen's Vase. Back here slightly indifferent. You'd want to know that John Reid was going to make plenty of use of the horse's stamina, because he was doing most of his best work at Ascot at the end of the race, and that represents his best run.
Jim, might be a bit difficult job for John Reid, because over 2 miles this horse was plenty keen enough early on, and they did go a good gallop.
Yet he was staying on really well. This is the horse that might make the pace for him, John, Red Route, because he was ridden handily last time, although it's slightly further today. I suppose they wouldn't be anxious to go a blazing clip, but he seems very happy lobbing along, and just beaten by a better animal at the weights the other day in Midnight Legend in the King George Handicap at Ascot, form which in the main is working out particularly well. Only Mystic Hill has let it down in the last 10 days or so, and this horse attempting a longer distance for the first time, which, like Summit, the dam side of his pedigree suggests very much will suit him. Could be the one to upset the two more established ones, Daron and Summit.
Well, Summit is clinging on by his hoof nails to favouritism. Out from 7 to 4, out to 5 to 2, as he's challenged on all sides by Daron and by Red Route. In from 3 to 1 to 11 to 4, those two. A well-backed outside has been Al Alaflak from 12 to 1 into 8 to 1. 8 to 1 solid Shannara's Way, and double carpet the Wraggs. But there's an appeal going out from William Hill for a punter who's owed £45,000. He lives in Southport, and in the football he backed Mexico and Nigeria to top their groups. Nigeria did finish top, 45 grand a week ago. He's not drawn it. If you had that double, go to William Hill and draw it. Here, will Summit be drawing? It's clinging on by its hoof nails to favouritism.
And Summit going into the stalls. Troy's Dream nearest to us, and just waiting for them all to settle, and they race away. Now the early pace could come from Red Route and Ron, who've raced up with the pace or in touch in the past. Shannara's Way in the red cap is taking quite a keen hold, and that's sharing it with Daron. Summit taking a keen hold, second from the right, and Power on the extreme right with the green cap, and they're sorting themselves out through the first furlong and a half, and it's Power who's powered into the lead. From Daron in second, Shannara's Way showing third, Summit throwing his head about, not helping John Reid at this stage. Yellow colours, Red Route. Then comes Alaflak, and Troy's Dream is the trailer. But Power under Michael Roberts leading. Power by about a length and a half now to Daron, who's racing on the inside of Red Route, and the blue colours just shaded Summit. With the red cap Shannara's Way, blue colours on the left of the picture is Alaflak, and the back marker is Troy's Dream. Go through the first half mile, and they only have one turn to make in this race. That's the end of about 3/4 of a mile, and it's Power who leads. From Summit on the outside of Daron, then comes Red Route, followed by Shannara's Way and Alaflak and Troy's Dream. Little change in the order. The relatively inexperienced Power leads. From Summit in second, and Daron the inside of Red Route. It's Shannara's Way just in front of Alaflak and Troy's Dream. So they start the turn in towards the home straight in this, the Bahrain Trophy, and Power still leading under Michael Roberts for Clyde Britton by about a length to Summit, who's on the outside of Daron. First three all St Ledger entries, and so too is Red Route. The yellow colours just shaded from this camera angle of fourth, no more than a length off the pace. Red cap Shannara's Way, white cap looking at the back of the pack now is Troy's Dream, and the striped cap Alaflak. So they've got just over 3/4 of a mile to go, and they come down towards the 5-furlong marker now. 4 vying for the lead. Power the inside of Daron being pushed along. And then Summit, and on the outside, Red Route comes to share the issue with Shannara's Way behind that, and then Troy's Dream and Alaflac and the leaders with Red Route. Red Route going into the lead now, Summit the inside. And then on the outside, the white cap is Troy's Dream, red cap Shannara's Way. Then Daron, Power was the early runner, drops back, but still in front of Alaflac, but not for long. They're past the 3-furlong marker. And it's Red Route making the best of his way home, coming down to the 2-pole. And Red Route shot clear by about 4 lengths to Shannara's Way in second. Summit running the rail and looking very well paced. So too is Daron, but Red Route has spread eagle with them at this stage. Uphill to the final furlong, and Shannara's Way and Daron are digging deep, and so too is Summit. They're trying to rally, but as they go up towards the line, it's going to be Red Route who's holding on. Clear by 4 and only 100 yards to go. It's Red Route in the Clifton Stuff colours for Henry Cecil and Willie Ryan coming up towards the line, and Red Route takes it. Red Route is the winner from Summit in second, in a photo for second place with Shannara's Way clear of Daron, well clear of Alaflac, and then came Power who beat one home, and that was Troy's Dream. And so the result then of this, the Bahrain Trophy, the 11-4 chance, Red Route has won in the colours of the Clifton Stud, trained here at Newmarket by Henry Cecil, ridden by Willie Ryan, his 25th winner of the season, and of course homebred. Second horse home is number 5 Summit, ridden by John Reed, and the third is number 7 Shannara's Way, partnered by Frankie Dettori. So Red Route, who was trying this extended trip for the first time, positively ridden by Willie Ryan, who sent him into a useful looking lead, dashed into the lead really 2 furlongs from home in a staying race, and poached that 4-length lead which he kept up towards the line, and came home, this Polish precedent son, in good style. Just has to be pushed out hands and heels. He is a St. Ledger entry, he is improving, and he does stay the trip.
Well, not really a true test of stamina, because they certainly didn't go a strong gallop early on, and John said to me quite an early stage he wondered as to the tactics of 1 or 2 of these who got form over longer distances. You could see from 4 furlongs out when Willie Ryan has really stepped the tempo up. His horse has shown his form over shorter distances, and he's kicked here, and although there's a combination of stamina involved as well, it's superior pace that's won.
Yeah, probably just a better horse as well. Willie Ryan just gave him a slap down the left-hand side, swished his tail, he said I'm doing enough, and trying his hardest. And there his tail goes again. But basically just a better horse. The way that the race was run, he was able to quicken up, as Jim said, and the further he went, the better he moved. This horse looked a little bit scratchy on the way to post, but came back much better.
Willie Ryan coming back on Red Route, returned the 11-4 joint second favourite, back down from 3-1, the best price it ever was. The runner-up the week in the market, Summit, 5-2 favourite, with a third Shannara's Way, an 8-1 chance for that Red Route. A lot of people seized on that, and also back to Ron against a weak Summit. They've drawn at 11-4.
Willie Ryan in action here this afternoon. He was at Bath yesterday and has really blossomed his riding since he's taken over as stable jockey to Henry Cecil.
It's a sleepy horse, this, isn't he? Look at him now. I know he's galloped a mile and 6 furlongs, but he's very relaxed about what he does.
Smashing horse. I think he'd be a better horse when he gets a little bit more cut in the ground, to be perfectly honest. Looks as though he's just feeling his old legs a little bit there. Plenty fast enough here. Anyway, if you backed him, here's the SP.
First number 4, Red Route, 11-4. Second number 5, Summit, the 5-2 favourite. And third number 7, Shannara's Way at 8-1 and 7 run.
Good to see Willie Ryan back after that horrible fall in the Derby. I haven't seen him actually myself on a winner since. And Red Route, who is by a horse, but a mile out of a habitat mare, aiming, we understand, for the St. Ledger. He's still in the lesser ledger, and he certainly gets the trip. And he looked good in the paddock, and congratulations once again to our paddock team. If you ignored what the form book said and just listened to what their eyes told them, you'd be well ahead of this meeting. we've got the Tour coming, closing on Portsmouth, and we've got news from Red Route, and we've got the next race coming up after the break.
He's going to buy paint, and she's going to buy paint too, because whenever she asks him to get anything, he always gets it wrong. And if she has to come, so does he. And him, but they don't have to go through all this palaver. They can do this.
Hello, Davies DIY. Have you got any Cardinal Red eggshell in stock, about 2 litres?
Cardinal Red, eggshell, 2 litres. No.
Oh.
But I can get it for you. It'll only take a couple of days.
I don't suppose you deliver, do you?
Are you local?
Mason's Estate.
Oh, I'll be just round the corner.
Well, got that lot sorted, eh? So, they all get back in the car for a nice day out in the country. Thanks to one phone call that costs less lolly than a lolly. It's good to talk.
If you're about to buy a mobile phone, the way to avoid slipping up is to go to People's Phone and check out which of our 12 tariffs is cheapest for you. People's Phone, where talk is cheaper. For your nearest shop, call 0345 10 11 12.
The Argos sale is so great!
I just can't get over it.
Are you putting money away for the future? When the time comes for your payout, how much can you look forward to? A cheque for £10,000? £15,000? Or even as much as £20,000, guaranteed? Well now, depending on how much you put aside each month over a fixed 11-year term, you could expect this much money or more. To find out how, just ring 0800 201 201 now and ask about the cash escalator from Sun Alliance. Put aside from £15 to £150 a month, and you're guaranteed a cash lump sum in 11 years' time. No risks, no gambles. And on top of that, there are bonuses, your share of the profits from Sun Alliance's Life Fund. And with premiums increasing by 10% every year, your money grows even faster. So why not call 0800 201 201 now? We'll ask you a few simple questions, and then prepare a personal illustration, showing how much your cash payout could be. There's no obligation, and no salesman will call. With your illustration, we'll send your first free gift, this stylish pen. And when you start, this answer machine is also yours, free. Start with £25 a month or more, and you also qualify for a weekend break for 2. So call now on 0800 201 201 and ask about the cash escalator from Sun Alliance. Your call is free, and you're under no obligation at all.
Call 0800 113 113 now for your free Great Universal catalogue and get free delivery, free home approval, interest-free credit and £1 back for every £10 you spend. And when you start shopping with Great Universal, choose a free gift or a massive 20% off your first order to get you started. Great Universal, the free catalogue for you, your family and your home. So call now for yours. Call free anytime on 0800 113 113.
We know about one man and his dog. This looks like one woman and a whole pack. I'll bet she feeds them. Well, no, that would be advertising. Here's the presentation.
£4, £1.80 and 5, £1.80. Dual forecast, 4 and 5 in either order pays £3.50.
Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Red Route making a bold run for home and staying on in really great style to win the Bahrain Trophy, this listed race very kindly sponsored for the 16th year by the High Committee of the Bahrain Equestrian and Horse Racing Club. And we're delighted to welcome the club's Director General, Tawfiq Saeed Sharaf Al-Alawi, into the winner's enclosure to make the presentation of the trophies. First of all, this magnificent trophy for the winning owners, the Clifton Stud, will be received on their behalf by Mrs. Louis Friedman. Congratulations.
The tape returns on the 2:35. The winner, number 4, Red Root, paid £320 for the win, and the places 180 and 180 again. The dual forecast came to £3.50, and a computer straight forecast 9.32 and 7 ran.
Here she is, here's Lock Song, first appearance on the track. She's just come by us, just walking over to the pre-parade ring where we started the programme from earlier this afternoon, and she'll walk around over there. She looks absolutely magnificent.
But it takes a quite exceptional horse to win Ascot's King Stand Stakes over 5 furlongs and come here and win the July Cup over 6 furlongs. Now, since the war, 15 King Stand winners have run in the July Cup, and just 6 have managed to win. And in the last 10 years, the record is pretty dismal. That only horse to win was Never So Bold. That was in 1985, able to win the King Stand Stakes and the July Cup among horses beaten. Animals like El Bio and King's Tycoon. Animals like that went under. Sheikh Albadoo, of course, he failed as well. Bluebird was odds on when going under, trying for the double. So was Habibti 10 years ago. And of course, France's last Tycoon, who was third to Green Desert. And the only horses to win to complete the double, apart from Never So Bold, were Marwell in 81, Solinus and Lochnagar in the 70s, and in the 50s you got Papa Four-Way, and in 1949 the great Abernant himself. So that is the kind of task that Lock Song faces. Statistically, it's certainly odds against her.
And after all the drama of Derby Day, when we saw poor Willie Ryan get fairly mashed up, it's great to have him here, looking extremely healthy. First time I've talked to you since then. How, all the bits are presumably completely back in?
They are, yes. You know, they were very sore for 2 weeks, and then, you know, I just used the time to have a rest and everything and get my sort of self back together, and I've been riding out now for sort of best part of, I don't know, from certainly about the 20th, I guess, of the month, and you know, everything seems to be back in order.
And you've been back amongst the winners anyway before today, haven't you?
Yes, yeah, we've had quite a good trot up to now.
Smashing. Tell us about this horse, because it's by Polish precedent of miler, out of a mare who has bred a 2-miler, but was by habitat, so you wouldn't exactly think he's a 1 3/4 horse.
No, I see your point. One Way Street, she was quite a lazy animal, I believe. It was before I went to Henry's when she was there, and I think Pat won on her and won some nice races on her. And she's bred some nice sort of fillies, Oscar Way, won a race over 2 miles, I believe, and you know, this horse, he seems to be staying well. We didn't go a terrific pace in that race. Perhaps his optimum trip might be 1 mile and 6, but he's got the 1 mile and 7 there well today.
In the St Ledger, isn't he? I understand.
I don't know.
Apparently. Do you think he actually could be up to that, or?
Well, who knows? He's certainly a horse who's improving, and he does really would like a little more cut in the ground. We had a bit of rain here last night. It's taken the sting out of everything, but you know, he is a horse who's improving with every race. Doesn't exactly show you much at home. He's very laid back, like his dam. We just hope he keeps going like he is.
Willie, I must close with one on-the-spot question. Everyone's saying, Lock Song, can she last in this class, or do you think something will pick her off?
I really think it'll be a marvellous race, and it'd be terrific to see her win. Obviously, she's a public favourite now. It's going to be tough. I think Catrell will take a lot of beating. Owington, obviously, has got the form there. But I feel Catrell would have come on enormously for that run at Ascot, and he could be the one. But let's hope. Keep our fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got a sprinkler in my hand. Now, they were hoping to water the course here at Newmarket last night, but then when they went to turn on the sprinklers, they found there weren't any. Some person, as yet unknown, had stolen 102 sprinklers from here at Newmarket on the racecourse. Now, I don't know what sort of person would steal them or what he or she would do with them, but I'm surrounded by the right sort of people. I've got about 35 policemen and women. Any news on the sprinklers?
It could be people who didn't want the course watered.
It could be. So it might not be a villain, it might be a trainer or a jockey.
Or a punter.
Or a punter. Now, why are we all here today? Why are the policemen here? Piggott.
We have a cheque to present to the Injured Jockeys Fund for £1,100, which we've raised over the last 6 months at club meetings in London. For the Injured Jockeys Fund, we've had people coming along from the industry to actually give up their time for nothing. And that enabled us to invite PCs and charge them something at the door towards their expenses, etc. And raffles, and those raffles have raised this amount of money.
Great idea. So how many policemen are actually involved in this?
There's 175 now.
Cool. Whereabouts? Where from?
from all over London,
Yeah.
and one or two civilians and friends of police officers, including publicans.
Have you got any horses?
Yes, I have an interest in a horse called Walk the Beat.
No, it would be, wouldn't it? Walk the beat, yeah. I mean, when you have a runner, I mean, all the villains in London will actually know when the horse is running, and when you're away at the races, they'll probably get stuck in, won't they? I would think. Hang on, we've got a mounted. Where's the mounted policeman? Come over here. This mounted policeman has a claim to fame. He wants X-Man, but he's old enough to have run against Lord Oaksey. Where was that? Where was that?
1973, I believe it was.
And we both fell off, didn't we?
Yes.
Where was this, at Cheltenham?
We met in the Land Rover going home, and he said, would I have won? And I said, I wouldn't have beaten you, isn't that right?
That's right.
That's right.
I was only conning you, really.
Come on, Oaksey is our trustee of the Injured Jockeys Fund, and John, would you like to receive this cheque for £1,100? Gentlemen of the police force, congratulations, and a lot of hard work has gone into this, and I know it'll be put to very good use.
It's wonderful. I'm really grateful to you all for all the work that you've put into it, and let's hope that it's just the start of a golden period for your club, because you're trying to get a horse, aren't you, I hope?
That's correct.
Soon. Well, if desserts or anything, she'll fly. She'll be a lock song.
Hope so. Let's hope
Anyway, thank you very, very much indeed. Well done.
It's our way of putting back something for all the entertainment that the industry gives us.
Great. Well, they do give us all a lot of fun, the jockeys, don't they? And I can promise you we'll try and put the money to good use.
I hope they get a horse, and of course anyone who objects to them might have their colour collars felt. But we're closing on Portsmouth at the Tour de France, the Tour de Hampshire today, as you know. Let's go and rejoin Phil Leggett live on the Tour.
And we're looking down now on a long, thin line of riders in the Tour de France. The four fugitives we saw break away are now coming back to the fold. They're hanging on by the skin of their 6-ounce racing tyres, I think, because, in fact, Edwin van Hooijdonk, Marco Lietti, Pascal Hervé and Giancarlo Perini are now about 35 seconds from capture, and we are only about 12 or 13 minutes from the line.
Well, it's been a good play by these riders. They've tried. They were a good group. They all worked together. Nobody shirked the work that had to be done to try and stay clear. But that's what cycling is all about. You have to go out there and try. Otherwise, you could go through the Tour de France and just be an anonymous rider. Van Hooijdonk will be a little bit upset about that, I think, when it all comes back together, because he must have felt he had a great chance of winning this stage of the Tour de France today. But looking back down the road there, you could see the main field. They're in a long line, and it is the Pulte team who are now starting to take the responsibility for the chase.
And it's the Pulte team, as you say, Paul, and we're watching now the closing stages of the second day of the Tour de France here in Great Britain. But don't forget, tonight at 8 o'clock, you can watch highlights of the whole day of racing in the Portsmouth area. We've been out in Hampshire all day. It's been memorable, to say the least. The crowds treating in Portsmouth to a fly past by the Red Arrows, the French standing and openly applauding what has been two tremendous days here in Great Britain. The Pulte team, one of the finest teams from Italy, being robbed at the moment of the chance of a shot at the gold medal with Jamaluddin Abdul-Jabbarov, because four men are hanging out just 25 seconds in front.
What a strange thing to see, because leading the Pulte team in the chase to help Abdul-Jabbarov was Gianni Bugno himself. The man who's been 2 times world champion, was regarded as a contender for the Tour of Italy this year. The man is so up and down, it's hard to understand exactly what is going through his mind, but he's the man at the front, setting the pace for his teammate at the moment. Just second in line is the English-speaking Italian as well, Andrea Peron.
Yes, he surprised us one day when we were talking about him, and he says, oh, by the way, guys, I can speak English quite well. I spend a lot of time in the United States. And from that moment on, we've had to watch what we say. But in fact, he's a super character, and this is his second Tour de France, and I think he's going to be a bit of a star. He's on the front at the moment and setting the pace. We now are heading down towards the finish, and the sea is on the shoulders of Edwin van Hooijdonk, but Paul, 19 seconds. They can't make it, can they?
Well, I would say no way, and I think that nobody else would bet against me by saying that, because now it is very, very windy. It's a tough finish to come down here into Portsmouth, and the field will be boring down upon them. We'll be talking about something around about 35 to 40 miles an hour on the run-in now for these guys.
Long, thin line of riders, and again, an excellent show on the closed roads here down in Hampshire and West Sussex. The police have done an outstanding job. There is the gap. And I think we're going to see this race regroup.
You can see the organisation. Now, this is the job of the referees here. Before, there were lots of cars and motorbikes behind these riders, and the referee's job is to make sure that once the gap comes down to a dangerous size, all the cars are evacuated. They have to overtake and get out of the way, so we have a clean gap between the breakaway and the main field. That way the race can happen under normal circumstances.
Well, the power has gone clean out of this breakaway now. Very shortly, the field will come back together. The crowd on the right here, standing on the main road into Portsmouth and enjoying every minute of it. Don't forget all of the highlights of what's happened right around the route today can be seen on our regular evening slot on Channel 4 at 8 o'clock. And there it is, it's all over. A long, long breakaway that went clear well before we went to Winchester. Now the field is all together again. So the field has regrouped. The next stop will be the finish down in Portsmouth, but now it really is anybody's race.
Building up to a climax at Portsmouth. We're going back for the finish after this race, but let's first of all get updated from Redcar.
The 250 won by number 1, Promise City at 5-2. Second, number 3, Robbie's Rainbow, 13-8 favourite. And third, number 4, Taffeta Silk, returned at 7-4. And 4 ran.
So to the TNT Aviation Handicap. It's over the straight mile here. Ham and Eggs is the top one, number 1. They're beginning to come out through this paddock to set off back down the course. 11 runners listed by Graham.
With Ham and Eggs scheduled to be ridden by Paul Eddery. Now Lester Piggott on board, this 8-1 chance from stall 4. Porphyrios 6-1 with Tony Clark. Desert Invader from the stall 1 is 20-1 chance of Water Swinburne. Wide at 12, Fayrouz a 20-1 chance, now ridden by Richard Quinn. Cameron Highland doesn't take part, as we see. Wintercoat Visor, the 92 joint favourite, Frankie Dettori Partners from stall 9. Drawn 3, Ali Serrano, 9-1 chance with Mick Kinane. And Diabeg from stall 6 is a 10-1 chance with Philip Robinson. Loxandra, Willie Ryan bidding for a double, the 92 joint favourite. That too is trained by Henry Cecil from stall 7. Payonix drawn 2, 9-1 chance, John Reed. Drawn 5, Luque and Key, 12-1 with Michael Roberts. And drawn 11, Samba Sharpley, a 12-1 chance with Jimmy Quinn. Runners to post for this, the TNT Aviation Handicap, the Tripper Mile.
The Gosden stable just won with Promise City at Redcar, and here's their representative here. Wintercoat, ridden by Frankie Dettori, second at Ascot last time. Before that had dropped down to 7 furlongs to good effect in the Michael Sabel Handicap at York.
And they come down to the 2 furlong marker, and it's a wide open race. Battle Colours, beware of agents. Herora Tomashenko, Herora coming through on the inside. They come down towards the final furlong. Wolf Power with Battle Colours. Herora running through on the rails, beware of agents. Wide then comes Tomashenko. Wintercoat on the very wide outside of the pack as they race inside the final furlong now. And it's Wintercoat wide, Herora running the rail from Battle Colours, beware of agents. And up the line it's going to be Wintercoat. Wintercoat just takes it. Wintercoat the winner, Herora second, Battle Colours third, beware of agents in 4.
Now here in the blue with the white stars is the Henry Cecil runner, number 9, Loxandra, who's had problems with the starting stalls. Mind you, first time out at Salisbury in May, it wasn't really her fault because the stalls, John Francome, failed to open that day.
And she just got herself really upset just before she went in. She had the hood on, and just watch now as she goes in. Something frightens her. She charges the front of the stalls, and Willie Ryan does well to keep her as settled as she does. She becomes more relaxed, puts her hand on her, gives her a pat on the neck, and she's okay. But in going forward, she damaged the starting mechanism, and when the others went, well, unfortunately, Loxandra didn't. But she put that run behind her. She ran a good race next time out, and then when she came back to a mile on her last run, which was at Newcastle, well, she ran out a really good winner.
Down towards the distance they come, and Loxandra now is being asked to quicken up by Tony McGlone, and he's getting a good response, and she goes quickly past Laftar. So with 150 yards to go, this is one for the favourite, with Loxandra coming through in the end, a very easy winner up towards the line. It's Loxandra who scores at her third attempt easily in the end from Laftar second.
Well, the form of that race is a little difficult to assess. It was a very slowly run race. There's no doubt she was undeniably impressive. But, John, this is a much more competitive event.
The other thing that interests me in this horse is the fact that was running over 1.25 miles, and she looks like she's a horse that's going to need further. That race that we saw at Newcastle was over 1 mile. But as you can see for yourself, she's not lightly made, but she's got the frame of a horse who needs a distance of ground.
A totally different type of individual is number 1, the top weight Ham and Eggs, Mount of Leicester Piggott. He's quite a good topped horse, carries plenty of condition, whereas John's just told you Loxandra's longer and a leaner type.
It's been a bit disappointing since he won at York, really.
Because we were really impressed with him that day. We both had a few bob on him because he was outstandingly impressive in appearance. Ran a reasonable race last time at Royal Ascot, but still not up to the promise of that York debut, and the run before that at Haydock was just too bad to be true. On his early form, a chance, but a question mark in view of 2 recent bad performances.
A horse who got himself a little bit warm beforehand is Perforus, owned by Athos Christodoulou. Had loads of good horses. Still got Hal Capoose, who's doing the business for him at the moment, and Porphyrios that Guy Harwood trains. Well, he's earning his keep as well at the moment, and was 4th behind Wintercote in the Britannia Handicap, and he's also won at Lingfield on a softer surface. Got himself a little bit sweaty, as I said, though.
That's typical of him, John. He's a really headstrong horse. He fought Tony Clark pretty much all the way at Ascot, and when he won at Lingfield, made all the running in between. Well, he just almost literally ran away in a race at Thirsk. If he is tractable enough to allow himself to use his ability rather than just bolting off here, with Guy's horses in good form, the ground in his favour, he's got a chance because he's a big, strong individual, well up to carrying weight, but that would be the question mark against him.
Yeah, he looks like a miler, all right, and it's great to see Guy Harwood's horses running well again. Let's have a look now at Ale Serrano. This one had a difficult task last time out in the Jersey Stakes, but he's already won a race on an easier surface at Warwick prior to that, and he's got plenty on his plate, but he's a nice looking individual.
Well, as you said, he'd no chance last time, but judged on the way he won a maiden the time before that, he's certainly on a reasonable chance here. Could go well each way, looks particularly well. 9-2 favourite on the first show was Wintercote. What's the latest news, JT?
Thank you, James. And Wintercote is the favourite, 4-1 from 9-2, and Loxandra is 5-92. Porphyrios is on 6-1, steady at that. Ham and Eggs is 9-1 from 15-2. On the 10-1 mark are Ali Serrano, Diebeg and Paonic. Samba Sharpley is a 12-1 shot to Cayenne Key at 14s, and Desert Invader a 16-1 chance in from 20s. Feyrouz the outsider, 20-1.
So, the eye-catchers for this particular race in the paddock. John very taken with the way Alice Serrano looked on the course. Graham thought Samba Sharpley strode down best. Negative Loxandra. In the betting ring, strong for Wintercote. Negative once again for Loxandra. Well, Loxandra, the filly with the L in this particular race, but Loxong, the filly with the L that they've all come to look at here this afternoon. And I say sometimes
speed as well, I'd say.
They say don't give animals, people talk about animals as though they're humans, anthropomorphic thinking it's called. Well, there's no doubt this filly's got a bit of a presence to her. She seems to take the preliminaries different to others. What's happening? I'm here. We'll see her running shortly. Mac.
Great to see Loxon looking so fit and well. There'll be much more activity on her race than there is here, where they're going 4-1 that Wintercote in from 9-2, 5-1 a week Loxandra, 6-1 Porphyrios, and 9-1 bar the 3, and the best of those is now Diebeg, number 8, into 9-1. But in an almost stagnant betting heat, it'll be throbbing and pulsating before the July Cup, with so many different views then as to whether Loxon will get that final furlong.
Well, we expressed doubts about the courage of one or two of this field. There are no question marks about Diebeg, who we'll look at now. Her resolution, she battled on really well to win a maiden at York last time out. It wasn't a particularly strong one. You saw a line out from that run badly yesterday. But she's a filly who's relatively lightly raced, seems to be improving, has shown she acts on the ground, and is not without a chance.
Let's have a look at Paonic. Runs in blinkers. Well, actually, I tell a lie. It doesn't run in blinkers. I just had it in the back of my mind that this horse needs to run in blinkers. I've watched it run a couple of times, and scrabbled home at Newbury in an apprentice race. Got lots of ability. Just gets himself a little bit worked up. Not a horse that takes his racing particularly well. And apparently he's a much better horse at home than he is on the race course. Oh, one of the best looking horses in this field is a horse called Desert Invader, who's just misbehaving at present.
He looks thoroughly mulish, actually, John, doesn't he? Before we came back and took a close look at him, I just saw him out of the corner of my eye. At one point, he threw himself almost in the air, and Walter was lucky he stayed on.
But you said he had good form as a 2-year-old.
He won nicely on his debut as a 2-year-old. Admittedly, the ground was soft, but he's showed a little last time out. One would think that if he went in and took part, that he's such a fine-looking horse, he's, you know, entitled to expect him to run well, but he doesn't look very cooperative. Not a case here of nerves. To me, it just looks stubbornness, John.
Yes, he's certainly got his own mind about things, that's for certain. I should imagine they'll start turning him around in just a few months. There he is, he's going forward. Go on, old son. And he's just feeling the side of those stalls. And they've done it 120,000 times before. Let's hope that he just goes those last few inches. He's in. Let's take another look at the latest betting. We had it popped up on the screen for you until we were watching Desert Invader. There you go. Wintercoat, 7-2 chance. Coming in all the time. Loxandra, she's 5-1. And Peripherus, a 6-1 shot. Well, Diabeg is Diabeg and not Diabeg, and it's actually a Scottish village. Well, plenty of crowds here. Most of them waiting for the next race, the July Club, but this is certainly a good race, one worth watching. They're all in. Let's join Graham.
The trip is a mile, that's it. Just confirm that Cameron Highlander doesn't take part, waiting for Paonic to go into the stalls. Scheduled to go in late. John Reed rides, a pound overweight. Horse fitted up quite badly, but that's it. They're set. Nearest to us, Fayrouz in the green, dark green jacket. Samba Sharply the far side. Peripherus a little bit sleepy in the stalls, and also Diabeg not that fast away. And it's Samba Sharply that's come over to take up the running from the 11 stall, but gets to a forward point with Paonic the inside of him. Fayrouz is showing in third. Ali Serrano with Ham and Eggs, and then behind these comes Locklandra, followed by Luque and Key, and on the inside Desert Invader. On the outer is Wintercoat towards the back. Diabeg is towards the back as well, but it's Paonic leading by a length and a half and taking them along at quite a good clip, with the orange sleeve Samba Sharply, the green is Fayrouz, and then the white sleeve jacket Ali Serrano, the stars of Loxandra. Desert Invader the inside, the favourite Wintercoat in the white jacket, and Peripherus is one of the back markers now, and they come down towards the halfway stage. And it's still Paonic that has the edge from Fayrouz in second, Samba Sharply, and then Ali Serrano, Desert Invader. These are followed through by Loxandra on the left, in the white jacket as they come down towards the 3 is Wintercoat. Peripherus with a bit of running to do. Diabeg's getting into gear now. Luque and Key being pushed along in the white cap, middle of the pack, but it's still Paonic clear by 3 to Samba Sharply. Wintercoat with a run on the outside of the pack. They've got a quarter of a mile to go, and it's Paonic leading clear by 4 now to Samba Sharply, Ali Serrano, Diabeg and Loxandra staying on. Just over a furlong to go. This Paonic from the front has dominated and annihilated a field of handicappers, galloping on resolutely up towards the line. They're only playing for places because Paonic has this well and truly won. Luque and Key through for second place, but at the line Paonic takes it. Luque and Key second, Ali Serrano third, Diabeg 4, Samba Sharply, and then Loxandra, and then behind these came Desert Invader, and then comes Ham and Eggs, and the last horse to pass the post was Peripherus. And so the result then of this, the TNT Aviation Handicap, a 9-1 chance. Paonic has won in the colours of Paolo Riccardi. This one ridden by John Reed, trained here at Newmarket by Luca Cumani, and that 1 pound of overweight not made not a jot of difference. Second horse home was Luque and Key. Michael Roberts was hard at work, quite some way up. The third horse home was number 6, Ali Serrano. That's the 1, 2, 3 in this TNT Aviation. But really, for what looked to be on paper beforehand a competitive handicap, Paonic has made this oh so easy and oh so smooth. John Reed just pushes this exactly sharp horse home, and he really is a long way clear of toiling rivals. The race never got competitive. John Reed in command.
Bionic, Paonic. I don't know whether he heard John Francome say if he doesn't buck his ideas up, there might be a pair of blinkers on or because he was more or less going in the direction of home, but he was certainly at his best here. And John, a horse like this, you'd think perhaps better at Newmarket because keen and nervous and edgy, less travelling involved, and maybe uses more ability on the track when he's racing here.
Well, I think it's just the experience because he's run here before, and he actually won his last race at Newbury. But I can remember Sarah Kamali telling me that she thought this was one of the best horses that they had in the yard, but he just hadn't been shown it. Used to get himself worked up on the race course, and they brought him here for a couple of outings. Well, certainly he's beginning to show his form in no uncertain fashion here, because although he was well weighted off of 8 stone 4, getting a lot of weight off of most of these, he's absolutely run them all into the ground. And really, I mean, they were placed horses, but they were an awful long way behind, and John Reed just squeezing this horse out hands and heels. I don't suppose for a moment he could believe just how easily he was going, or how far he was in front with a furlong to run.
And Paonic has returned the 9-1 co-third favourite of 3. 9-1 against Paonic. The second, Lucayan Kie, 16-1 chance. The third, Ali Serrano, sent off at 10-1. Wintercote was the 7-2 favourite. And a very early show here from George Simons on the July Cup. They're going 2-1 locks on. 11-4 Owington and 7-2 Barathea and Catrail. 16-1 Bar. That's the very first show you'll get from the course on the July Cup.
First number 10, Paonic at 9-1. Second number 11, Lucayan Key rather, at 16-1. And third number 6, LA Serrano at 10-1. Number 5, Wintercote was the 7-2 favourite. The tape paid £12 for the win. The place is £3 exactly, £5.70 and £3 exactly. The due forecast came to £86. The non-runner was number 7 and 11 round.
Paonic receives the applause, but this show leading towards the climax, the finish of the Tour de France in Portsmouth, and of course Lock Song's blazing attempt to keep out the others in the July Cup on the next half hour. Stay with us.
From July, the new Fiat Punto Cabrio is open to the public.
If you're about to buy a mobile phone, the way to avoid slipping up is to go to People's Phone and check out which of our 12 tariffs is cheapest for you. People's Phone, where talk is cheaper. For your nearest shop, call 0345 10 11 12.
Saving with Price Check is common sense. New potatoes are only 9p.
And Price Check means there's less to pay on things we're eating every day.
Look how little you have to spend on a joint of pork for this weekend.
Crispy baked pork pies make a good snack.
And I save 66p on a pack.
Merlot del Veneto. Red but light.
Just what we need with the meal tonight.
Price Check at Summerfield and Gateway stores now.
Are you putting money away for the future? When the time comes for your payout, how much can you look forward to? A cheque for £10,000? £15,000? Or even as much as £20,000, guaranteed? Well now, depending on how much you put aside each month over a fixed 11-year term, you could expect this much money or more. To find out how, just ring 0800 201 201 now and ask about the cash escalator from Sun Alliance. Put aside from £15 to £150 a month, and you're guaranteed a cash lump sum in 11 years' time. No risks, no gambles. And on top of that, there are bonuses. Your share of the profits from Sun Alliance's Life Fund. And with premiums increasing by 10% every year, your money grows even faster. So why not call 0800 201 201 now? We'll ask you a few simple questions, and then prepare a personal illustration, showing how much your cash payout could be. There's no obligation, and no salesman will call. With your illustration, we'll send your first free gift, this stylish pen. And when you start, this answer machine is also yours, free. Start with £25 a month or more, and you also qualify for a weekend break for 2. So call now on 0800 201 201 and ask about the cash escalator from Sun Alliance. Your call is free, and you're under no obligation at all.
The tea in Britain. Typhoon.
Well, welcome back to the betting ring at Newmarket, where the action is really going to hot up and going to take place, and the opposition is quite clear among the bookmakers to Lock Song. Just to give you the stats, that 46 favourites in 88 runnings this century have won the July Cup. The last 5 have been beaten. No one took the 2-to-1 Lock Song. They're now showing top of the head, 9-4 against her. Now Owington second best, 11-4, and it's 7-2 bar the 2. That brings in Barathea and Catrail. The interesting runner is the French horse Dolphin Street. It's the 20th French-trained challenger in the last 20 years to run in the race, and 2 have won it. They won it with Soviet Star in 88, Leanger in 75, put in 16-1 now Dolphin Street, with 20-1 against Piccolo, and you've got any Bryce the Rags, Double Carpet, Lavinia Fontana, and the rain, of course, came for her. The only reason she's running Lavinia Fontana because of the rain we had overnight, and also Double Carpet, 33-1 against Redoubtable, and it's double Carpet against the Newmarket great specialist Splice, who's put in at 66-1. So they're really around here. You've got the punters around here. They're all gathering around to see how much the bookmakers will oppose Lock Song. The public, of course, the betting shops all report the great weight of money is for Lock Song. Will the officers on the rails come in to shorten Lock Song up? Will the bookmakers be out to lay her to get their whack out of her, believing she won't stay? And will the Sheikh Mohammed horses be the horses back that Ladbrokes this morning? They reckon the winner will come from the Sheikh Mohammed horses, Barathea or Catrail. So that's the news you've got from here. The punters waiting round to see how generous the bookmakers will go. Will any of them dare go 5-2 or even 11-4 Lock Song? It seems inconceivable that they will, although she was a 3-1 chance about 2 days ago. You remember they put her in 2 or 3 days ago. They put her in at 3-1 Lock Song. On the course, it's 9-4 Lock Song, 11-4 Owington, and 7-2 Barathea and Catrail. We're all waiting here to see what those bookies are going to do.
Well, we're all waiting down in the saddling boxes to see the horses come out, and I tell you what's a very interesting race. Owington is the horse that everybody's talking about as a potential beater of Lock Song. Michael Hill should be riding Owington, but suspended. How frustrating is it be standing with me instead of getting changed in the jockey's room?
Well, it's very frustrating for me personally, because, you know, to get riding a Group 1 race on a horse like that is a big thrill. But for the people involved, you know, the horse is still going to run. They've got a good jockey.
They have. Now, what about this horse? He came good at York in May, and the Duke of York. I was impressed with the finishing speed there. What about you?
Well, after Newbury, after running the Greenham, you know, we decided that we thought he was going to be a sprinter. And then when we ran him at York, you know, he proved that he had a lot of speed, and he quickened off a very fast pace. And he had, you know, all the sort of necessary things to become a very good sprinter.
And then you went to Royal Ascot. You won the Cork-and-Orrery quite nicely. Ooh, as a plane goes over the top. Now, Catrail was third in that, Redoubtable fourth, and Piccolo fifth. Any chance of those three getting the revenge on Owington?
Well, I would be surprised because, you know, he feels as though he's improved from each run. And, you know, he's on a winning strike rate, you know, so I would be very surprised if any of the horses from behind him came and beat him.
So you obviously think it's going to go well, but how do you see the race progressing? Presumably, Loxong's going to fly. How close dare the others stick up with him?
Well, say Willie Carson, you know, is obviously going to have in the back of his mind is whether he's going to get home or not. So I would say that she probably won't go as fast as she has done in her previous runs, because he's obviously going to try and save for another furlong to run. But what the jockeys behind have got to watch out for is that they don't try and lay out with her early on, and then they've got no finish to take her on in the end anyhow.
They've got to take a pull and hopefully come late.
That's right.
Be very interested to see. Michael, stay with us. Enjoy the July Cup.
No horses in the paddock yet here at Newmarket, but the sprint will be on soon, and the sprint on now for the climax to today's stage of the Tour de France in Portsmouth.
Everybody wants to be in on the act. They've enjoyed their stay in Britain. One of the riders, Mania, who finished second yesterday, he said, "Who told us the British didn't like cycling?" He said, "I've never seen anything like it in my life."
In the bottom of the screen there, the blue jersey, you can see Phil Anderson is starting to move up Lance Armstrong in the white jersey. He just got his hand on somebody who was obviously in the way, so maybe Armstrong is thinking about going for the stage victory as well today. All these guys are going to have to take some big risks to try and get through, because the race is totally blocked across the front, and one thing is in the minds of everybody: I can win a stage of the Tour de France.
Going on the far right, an attack now, and it's gone from the Lotto team, who have the King of the Mountains leader on their squad, Peter de Klerk. He'll take the polka dot jersey home to France today, still as leader as it was when he did come here. And the rider, this is Herman Friesen, the opportunist. Friesen, who's won one stage in fourth time a few years ago in the Tour de France. He's gone clear now. Well, he's going to have some strength, because I tell you, the wind is strong here. He'll go round at the back and round Clarence Parade, and then swing around to line up for the finish. They're going to have to jump on him pretty quickly.
Well, he got a good gap there, but it wasn't even the Pulte team who could bring him back. It looks again as if it's Lauritsen chasing him down there, and the Pulte team disappearing a little bit. Two Telecom riders will take over straight away to try and keep the speed high. But that was a good move by Friesen, and if there'd been one or two little corners, that could have paid off, because he could have got 100 metres quite quickly.
Well, the Pulte team, in fact, have got swept away there by the anxiousness of a number of teams who believe they can do something here, and Motorola is one of them, and it looks like Yates has gone. Yates has decided to go for it with a long way to go, and he may have gone too soon. The ZG team are on him. The Italians have got Sean, but this is a strong man of world cycling. They call him the animal when he goes at full speed. They may have a job holding on.
Well, he was just going to try. All he needed was a slight pause to go through there. He was waiting for it, but didn't get it. The riders were watching him straight away. The ZG team have been a fantastic player today. This looks as if it might be Henrik Redant, the big, strong Belgian rider who rides for the Italian squad, and he's got the gap going. He's no stranger to the UK either, because he won a stage up in, I think it was Dundee a couple of years ago at the start of the Kellogg's Tour of Britain, but he too hasn't got the gap. Rolf Aldag is the pink jersey man from the Telecom team, bringing it all back together again, and this race is far from over.
Oh no, it's not over, Paul, but we're going to swing round for the finish, and it will be very shortly. Telecom now bringing through their big men, Uwe Raab and Olaf Ludwig. Ludwig not in our sight. Yes, he is. He's in second place now. His teammate going over his shoulder to continue the pacemaking. Looks like the big figure of Christian Henn. The idea now to keep Ludwig as fresh as they can. Ludwig, you can pick him out easily. He's dropped back to form. He's the rider with 2 second places so far, looking for the win, and he's now into fourth place.
And the man fighting for his wheel there in the white jersey with the red spot in the middle, the GB rider, is Johan Museo. He's lying in second place overall at the moment. He's just 4 seconds down on his own teammate. And a top three finish today for Johan Museo would mean that the yellow jersey would change shoulders again tonight before we go back to France.
It would go back to France the same way it came in, on the shoulders of Johan Museo. He's the rider in an all-white strip there, and Abdou Japarov's got Museo. Abdou Japarov has come round on Museo's shoulder as they begin to line up now for the finish here in Portsmouth, and it looks as though the sprinters should get the day here now, as Ludwig is in second place. He's the danger man, and Olaf Ludwig is the man who wants to win a stage. But watch out for Johan Museo. Martinelli is coming up here as well now. It's again Christian Henn setting the pace. Ludwig is on his back wheel. Abdu Japarov, that little man who can hide in a big field, is swinging into the straight in about 4th place now as they begin the dice for the line. This is going to be a superb sprint, whoever can get it here in Portsmouth. Ludwig is going to be launched on the right of the picture. The world champion Armstrong Dice is on the far left, but it's Fontanelli too who's trying to come through, but now Head opens up the sprint, and now goes Abdu Japarov on the left of the picture. Ludwig comes on the right, Ludwig on the right, and Abdu Japarov is beaten in this time out, I think, as Martinelli comes on the far right of our picture. It's going to be a photo, and it's right on the line, and I've got a feeling that the rider who's took it on the line was Nicola Minali, and that is a surprise for the Geoff team. He took it, I think, by the skin of his tie, and Ludwig could well be confirmed to have his 3rd second place on the stage in the Tour de France. The leaders were led out, and they served us royally on that finish with a great sprint, and Abdu Japarov was so confused he didn't know which wheel to grab next. It looks as though it was a win for Geoff and a win for Nicola Minali of Italy. What a great finish that was. And 1 or 2 riders who have been tailed off, 42 seconds counted down. They'll be coming in. They may have done their job. Certainly this GB rider has done his job to keep the leader on the team. So he's allowed to drop off and just come in. He's got no ambition today other than to do his job for the team. A good average speed today, 44.7 kilometers an hour. That's about 28 miles an hour. Tremendous average speed. Here's the slow motion finish. Abdu Japarov is the rider in green in 4th place. And then Minoli was right in the centre of our picture. You see Abdu is looking for wheels all over the place here. On the right of the man in the centre leading is Ludwig. And then Martinello is just on our inside. It's a good win there for Minola, and I think Ludwig may just have got 2nd from Martinello. Abdu Japarov was there too, and down the bottom here looks like Jan Zverada. There we have it now, and a clear win for Nicola Minali, as he takes it quite convincingly from the side-on shot, doesn't he? I'm not too sure about the other 2. I think it goes to Ludwig and Abdu Japarov 5th on the benefit of that photo. Let's have a look again. No doubt about the winner, Nicola Minali, but is it the man on the right, Martinello, or Ludwig, who takes 2nd? And I don't think this way is going to tell us. Not really.
Loksong, the back end of her, and that's the powerful end. Wow, seeing her here, she really is in terrific shape, but she's going to have the biggest test of the season so far by a long, long way. Group 1, the July Cup, 6 furlongs, the last furlong, uphill, and top horses like Catrail, Barathea and Owington coming at her. As we get ourselves set up, let's take an SP from Redcar.
Result from Redcar, the 320, won by number 3, SAFC at 9-4. Second, number 2, Royal Citizen, 8-1. And third, number 1, Tudor Flight, the 11-10 favourite. And 5 ran.
Horses coming through here must have been terribly impressed by the sheer power and size of Catrail, who's about to knock over the camera here and probably kick both of us as well. That's a really enormously powerful horse. Barathea pretty calm. Of course, he should relax more in this pace. And Cash Asmussen coming through Dolphin Street. Let's have the full runners and riders now from Graham Goode.
For this, the Group 1 July Cup, they've won over £1,660,000 in win and place prize money. Number 1 is Barathea, drawn 9, 130 chance, ridden by Mick Kinane. Number 2, Catrail, drawn 2, 7-2, with Frankie Dettori, the white distinguishing cap. Dolphin Street, 16-1 chance from the 3 stall, is ridden by Cash Asmussen. Number 4, Lavinia Fontana, is drawn 10, 33-1 under Brent Thompson. Number 5, Loksong, drawn 6, 3-1, ridden by Willie Carson. Number 6, Splice, is ridden by Walter Swinburne, 100-1 from the team drawn 4. On the rail is Owington, number 7, the 11-4 favourite now, ridden by Paul Eddery. Piccolo is a 20-1 chance, ridden by John Reed, and they're drawn 7. Number 9, Redoubtable, drawn 5, 20-1, and that's ridden by Richard Quinn. Risky is a non-runner.
Loksong's continuing brilliance has really caught the imagination this season, and on Channel 4 she's taken them all the way in both the Temple Stakes at Sandown and first a record-breaking Palace House Stakes at Newmarket on Guineas Day.
It's Loxong clear by 3. Here comes Tropical out of the pack, finishing like a rocket. Stepanov is going with him. Then Palace Gate Jack, and followed by Bunty Boo, surprise offer, but it's still Loxong that has the edge. Loxong clear by 3. Tropical up and down to the same spot now. Bunty Boo staying on. Light Lag can't live with it. Oh, class! Pure class. It's Loxong to the line. Loxong, Tropical, Bunty Boo the 1, 2, 3. But it's Loxong in front. What a powerhouse she is. Bunty Boo getting a little bit closer though, just over a furlong to go. Loxong clear by 2 to Bunty Boo. Lavinia Fontana, the brown sleeve jacket on the outside. They're inside the final furlong now, and Loxong just having to be pushed out by Frankie Dettori. Lavinia Fontana is after her and trying to close as they race up towards the line. Loxong's going to take it. Loxong is our winner. Loxong it is from Lavinia Fontana in second place.
Now, the 3-year-olds haven't fared too well this season when they've taken on the older horses, but there's plenty of confidence today behind this one. Owington, now ridden by Paul Eddery in place of the suspended Michael Hills. He won the Colquhoun in a very fast time at Royal Ascot, and before that had looked a real fast sprinter when a very impressive winner of the Duke of York in May.
Bid for Blue still has it from Owington, and then Tropical, they're the 1, 2, 3. Then Master Planner, and behind that one, Marina Park getting no run at all. Inside the final furlong, Yellow Cap on the right. This is Owington's race now. Owington going on. Owington drawing clear by 1, 2, 3 lengths up towards the line. This goes to Owington. Owington takes it from, in second place, Bid for Blue. Master Planner, a great race into third.
Willie Carson having his first ride on Loxong for some time, and she set off at a rate of knots, and Willie's actually done well because he's got her back, and at one stage she really did have the bit between her teeth, and considering how light he is, number one, in fact forget how light he is, I'm just having a look to see whether that saddle's gone up her neck or not. I mean, she really did take a good tug. Looks as though the saddle's just gone up onto her withers, and we've said so many times before, Willie Carson, he's just a damn good jockey and a very good horseman. I can remember watching him sit on a horse, Chili Bank, coming out on the other course once. I'm not certain just how far that saddle's gone up the neck, but that is very good. And if you back Song and she does come out and win, then you've got a bit to thank Willie Carson for.
And she's now perfectly, well, not perfectly relaxed, but she is relaxed.
Just seems in good form with herself.
Years of experience come into things. It's so easy to panic, John, I would imagine, in situations like that. You laugh, but it is.
There's an open ditch coming up towards you. It's not quite so bad if there's just 7 furlongs of grass. But that's not the point. They were setting off downhill, and it's so easy to lose a race. There's more races won and lost on the way down to the start.
But if it becomes a test of strength, only the horse can win, can't it?
Oh, there's never going to be any question about that. Willie looking perfectly relaxed. Although I think his arms are a fair bit longer than they were 5 minutes ago. But doesn't she look well?
And as they begin to gather down at the start here, I must tell you that the last race was run 0.05 of a second outside the course record. The ground here, after that rain, fine enough, it's really livened it up. The first race was pretty quick as well, so we're likely to get a very fast time over this 6 furlongs. The course record is actually 1 minute 9.82 by Cato Genero in this race, back 5 years ago, and they go pretty close to that. But Catrail, as I said earlier, is a magnificent, massive, great sprinter, typical sprinter in that way. He comes here with a big chance. He had Loxong behind him over 6 furlongs last season. He had a highly satisfactory comeback behind Owington at Ascot. Ended last year's British season with a determined effort over 7 furlongs at Newmarket.
They've got 2 furlongs to go, and still El Duco pressing the pedal. Fram on the left, a length back to Thurius. Here comes the favourite Catrail, unleashing a run now under Michael Roberts. They race down into the dip. They've got a furlong to go, and the favourite Catrail comes to take the race from El Duco in second place. Fram is back in third. They're inside the last 100 yards now, and it's the favourite, Michael Roberts. But here, fast and late, is Robin Des Pins, absolutely flying. Catrail's going to hold on. Robin Des Pins forces a photo, very close.
Well, I think Catrail's got a very good chance today, but there are two Sheikh Mohammed runners, and this one carries the first colours. This is Barathea, who's never run over 6 furlongs before. It's going to be asking a lot for him to come back after winning some top races over a mile to take on the real speed merchants in this July Cup. But he's obviously proved his connections that he is fast enough and able to take his chance. Now, he and the other Sheikh Mohammed runner this afternoon, Catrail, both ran in the Breeders' Cup Mile at Santa Anita last November.
And neither of them had any luck in running at all. Catrail is highlighted, Barathea immediately behind him, and you can just see there getting a real good clout, absolutely the meat in the sandwich. There's all the horses have just run wide, and just have a look at Barathea in front. He's having to go almost in a straight line at that bend just to remain on his feet. Well, Barathea also, I think, will be much happier. Back to this 6 furlongs. Let's see if anybody else figures so. Let's take a look at the betting.
Barathea in the market at 100 to 30 from 7 to 2. The joint favourites are Owington and Locksong, both at 3s. Catrail is a 4 to 1 chance from 7 to 2. Dolphin Street steady at 16 to 1, and Piccolo is 20s from 16s. Redoubtable also a 20 to 1 chance, this time in from 33s. Lavinia Fontana on 33 to 1, and Splice is the extreme outsider, 100 to 1.
So, on a day when the sprinters got a little bit on their toes and got warm in the paddock, none impressed more than Barathea, who looked in superb shape. On the course on the way down, Graham enthused over Dolphin Street, wasn't so happy with the way Lavinia Fontana went down. In the betting ring, positive moves for Redoubtable, something of an outsider, or considered an outsider beforehand, and somewhat negative, Locksong.
Negative there, I put in Locksong, but she has now come back to favouritism at 11 to 4 from 3 to 1. This is a classic case of the professionals against the public. The public love Locksong. None of the pros believe she can win. That is the bookmakers or the big backers. But round the country in the offices, the money is all for Locksong. There must be turmoil in the bookmakers' offices as to whether to send money back to the cause. Some are being forced to do so. That's why she's 11 to 4. Owington, very solid, 3 to 1, the Cork and Orrery winner. And also money for Barathea, who did touch 4 to 1, now into Burlington Bertie, 100 to 30, and Catrail, the weakest of the 4, out to 4 to 1. Some money for the French horse Dolphin Street, 20 to 1 to 100 to 6, and Redoubtable from double carpet, 33 to 1 into 20 to 1. Monkey was seen, £500, lots of each-way bets for the best of the Wraggs, Redoubtable.
So going into stall 6, Locksong. We can obviously expect her to see and dominate from the start. The thing is, of course, will Willie Carson keep a straight track, or will he edge over to the far rail and tighten up those drawn 5 through 1? Piccolo, one of the last to load. That could leave the room open for Barathea to challenge fast and late. We'll soon know. Don't blink. They race away July Cup. Locksong gets the call already. Clear by 2, and she's clear by 3. Barathea chasing Redoubtable with a yellow cap and Dolphin Street. And Locksong is tacking over to the far rail. And it's Locksong clear leader in the July Cup through the first furlong. By a length and a half to Redoubtable, the black and yellow cap, and then comes Barathea, Lavinia Fontana behind that, and then Piccolo. On the rails is Dolphin Street, and one of the back markers as they go through the first furlong and a half is Owington. Also towards the rear is Splice, but they come down towards the halfway stage, and it's Locksong really motoring, but only the length leader to Barathea the outside. Michael Kinane just chasing along to go with it. Then Redoubtable through into third, then Lavinia Fontana. Catrail, the white cap for Frankie Dettori, is the winner's getting closer now. 2 furlongs to go. It's still Locksong. Here comes Barathea. Catrail, the white cap. Owington's pulled out wide. Redoubtable behind these, and now Locksong pressed and passed by Barathea. Catrail, here comes Owington on the outside of the pack. Dolphin Street is finishing fast. They're inside the final furlong, and it's Owington now that goes on. Owington comes to take it. Dolphin Street is finishing fast. Locksong is beaten up towards the line. It's going to be Owington who takes it. Owington, Dolphin Street 1-2. Very close for third, Catrail and Barathea. These ahead of Splice, and then Piccolo and Redoubtable. And then came Locksong. Her crown has slipped a long way clear, though, of Lavinia Fontana. And so the result of this, the July Cup. It's gone to the improving 3-year-old number 7 Owington in the colours of Baron G. von Ullmann, trained here at Newmarket by Geoffrey Wragg and ridden by Paul Eddery, his 48th and by far the most important winner of the season. From the stall one, but he had to take back and come round and challenge late and wide. This is a thoroughly sound sprinting performance, but close home, Dolphin Street for Cash Asmussen didn't find daylight early on. That's gone through into second place. It's a very close call for third between Catrail, who's got third place just ahead of Barathea, who's in fourth. And as we edge this on, we see Splice in 5 and Piccolo in 6 and Redoubtable in 7 and Locksong in 8, and they're a long way clear of the only other horse in the race, Lavinia Fontana. A rather sad sight that, to see Locksong trailing this field of top-class sprinters, but let's take it away from the improving 3-year-old. Owington has won this, bred at the Stanley Estate and Stud Company. Well done to them and all their team. Well done to Pat Eddery. Feels sorry for Michael Hills, who could well have had the mount in this race, but it's going to be, well, Owington and Paul Eddery in the record books who take this, the Group 1 July Cup, this improving sprinter who's done nothing wrong this season, and he's come to take the race and repel the challenge of Dolphin Street, who came late and fast. Determined, gritted face of Paul Eddery, but a Group 1 winner.
Well, no wonder Paul Eddery's delighted. Remember, he's standing in a sub for Michael Hills, who's been riding the horse. Paul got the ride when Michael was suspended, and Paul Eddery's won only one group race in this country before. That was on Cadeau Genera in this particular race. It's a long time to go when you've had a string of near misses. Paul's regularly in the top 20, but not had perhaps the big race success his record overall deserves, and he did the job here. Nobody could have done it better.
Certainly not, and he's ridden a sensible race, because quite a few of these horses went off to chase Locksong and found themselves sitting a lot closer to her than they probably anticipated beforehand. Owington settled in at the back by Paul as Locksong blisters away on the far side. She never opened up the lead over this distance as we've seen her do over 5 before. Barathea just beginning to be niggled along there by Mick Cannan. Redoubtable close enough over on the rails. Owington tucked in at the back, and Splice has run on well. She's last of all at that stage. Paul Eddery doing the sensible thing. He's just easing Owington out in his own time. Catrail looks to be travelling particularly well at this stage, and Jimmy's all cruising from here.
Yeah, Paul Eddery is in effect tracked Catrail. If you think back to the result, the first 3 home were 3 of the last 4 for much of the race. So, as John has already exemplified, perhaps the early pace, perhaps 1 or 2 of those just tried to keep too close a tab on Locksong. Into the dip now, Barathea noses ahead. Barathea horse next to Locksong with the noseband, the white sheepskin noseband, in the middle of picture. On the outside, also sheepskin nosebanded, yellow cap. Paul Eddery drives Owington through. In between them's Catrail, and shielded from us, coming with the last surge, is Dolphin Street. Now here, Owington goes 3 parts of a length up, but it's not just Dolphin Street finishing well, because Barathea and Catrail are both coming back as well near the end. Perhaps Owington just idling a little. There's certainly nothing left now as they go to the line. In another few strides, Dolphin Street would have had it, but it's Owington and Paul Eddery's day.
Owington, whose sire Green Desert won the July Cup 8 years ago, returned the 3-1 clear second favourite. It did touch very late Burlington Bertie 100-30. The runner-up, the Flying Dolphin Street, a 16-1 chance. And third was Catrail. That was sent off at 7-2, along with the 4th Barathea, a 7-2 chance. And they made Locksong the 11-4 favourite. And the petrol ran out of the tank at the furlong pole. She died then. That's the last time we'll ever see her running over 6 furlongs, I'm sure. But Owington, the 3-1 favourite, he joins to win the Corcanora in the July Cup in the same season. Polish Patriot 2 years ago. In the 7th is Thatching, Saratama and Parsimony. Tudor Music in 69 and Right Boy twice in the 50s. They're the kind of horses that have won the Corcanora and come on to win the July Cup. Owington, heavily backed, the 3-1 second favourite. The professionals got it right. The public's love affair with Locksong is over 6 furlongs for sure.
Well, the last thing the jockey wants to do is not to weigh in, but when he's won the biggest race, or his biggest race of the season, and I'm sure Paul Eddery, who's due next after Walter Swinburne to make that manoeuvre. But the last thing, Geoff Wragg, the trainer, in the background. You go through this hundreds of times, but it's always as well just to make a check on a big day, just get maybe carried away. And from happy scenes, Willie Carson, the opposite.
Here's the victorious owner, Baron Geoff von Ullman. Many congratulations. The nation was getting its heart involved with Lock Song, but how sweet were you on your horse?
He is a very good 3-year-old. I mean, he won in May against older horses, giving him weight, which shows in a certain way that it's not a bad horse. That Lock Song is I mean, we were very lucky. We just hoped that we can do it over 6 furlongs. I think we were not there taking Lock Song on over 5 furlongs. Right. It's a fantastic horse, Lock Song. I mean, but just the last 100 meters, this was what we were hoping at.
And your horse seems to be getting better and better.
It's not a bad horse, no.
Not a bad horse. I mean, he's so good here. Will you go to Breeders' Cups and things, do you think?
Yeah, let's take it step by step. I mean, after one race, let's see how the horse speaks after the race, and then we decide it.
It's all happiness now.
All happiness right now.
Tell us, how did you get involved in owning horses? When did you start all that?
My family started 125 years ago.
125 years ago.
And I've got horses for about 20 years or something, but in England just recently, for the last 3 years.
And tell us, where is it in Germany you have them?
In Cologne, and the trainer is Mr. Jentsch, who, for example, just won the German Derby for the 8th time last week, sorry.
And German racing is on the up as well, isn't it, at the moment?
Very much so, yes, very much so. Yeah.
And will Owington go back there, do you think, to...
Let's see what happens. I mean, they are definitely, I think he has the qualification to become a stallion, but let's see what and where, and if he runs as a 4-year-old or not, this we can all decide quietly in autumn, I think.
It doesn't matter now.
It doesn't matter now.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So let's, having digested it live, try and go through it once again, see if we can sort out what went wrong, what happened where. Lock Song made that usual electric burst. The gates click. Off they go. You saw Piccolo didn't help his cause, particularly as it was the stiffest task he's faced with a plunge as they opened, losing a length or two. And John, I mean, Willie hasn't... She's jumped and bowled, but she's not actually tearing away with him, is she?
No, she's got no... Well, he's just obviously trying to conserve her speed, trying to keep a little bit in the tank for when they hit the rising ground. But Baratheer actually just ran a little bit freely early on, and I just wonder whether McKinnon probably maybe just thinking that he's made plenty of use of him, because as you said, the first 3 home have all come from off of the field. Redoubtable holding a place cosily on the other side, with Richard Quinn actually just coming off the bridle as I say that. And Lock Song, you can see Willie Carson a little bit of slack in the rein at this stage, still got her ears pricked, but he knows that they're really close up behind him. And Owington just appearing on the outside. Just have a look at Cassius Mooson, because he's come from 2 or 3 lengths away from Owington and just waiting for that gap to appear once Redoubtable just begins to lose his position. Unfortunate that there's still plenty of room for him to come up on this inside rail, and he was doing all of his best work in the closing stages. But as Jim said, Owington is a winner, but just pulled up in the last 50 yards. And there it is, number 7 Owington. It's finishing in front from number 3 Dolphin Street, and Cottrell got 3rd. There's the SP.
First, number 7, Owington, at 3-1. Second, number 3, Dolphin Street, 16-1. And third, number 2, Cottrell, returned at 7-2. Number 5, Lock Song, was the 11-4 favourite. A tote paid $4.10 for the win. The places 150, 210 and 180. The dual forecast came to £28 exactly. And the CSF, 41.99 and 10 ran.
Lord Hartington, please, to the weighing room.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, to make the presentation of the July Cup, we're delighted to welcome into the winners' enclosure here at Newmarket Lord Howard de Walden, former senior steward of the Jockey Club, and of course one of our leading owner breeders whose colours have been carried so successfully this season by Grand Lodge. And it gives us great pleasure now to ask Lord Howard to present the July Cup to the winning owner of Owington. Will you congratulate Baron George von Ullman, ladies and gentlemen.
And so if you want to know where your money went in this race, Owington from stall 1 brought wide with that late dash. Dolphin Street staying on gamely inside the final furlong to finish second. Catrail, Just Peeps, Barathea, both in the ownership of Sheikh Mohammed. Splice has run probably her best race ever to finish 5th in this Group 1 race. Piccolo's cause at the start wasn't helped with that fly jump. Redoubtable ran well for a long way, and the money in the ring suggested a big run from that one. Sadly, Lock Song 8th, and last was Lavinia Fontana.
No apparent reason for the defeat of Lock Song, who finished 8th of the 9 runners there. Geoff Smith, the owner, and the trainer Ian Balding both bitterly disappointed. She's come back safe and sound. The possible excuses being put forward: A, she didn't stay the trip; B, she was taking on perhaps Group 1 horses, real top-class horses, and perhaps didn't get away from them as she has done in the past. And it's interesting that we're looking down, looking at the floor, and it's the first time she's ever been out of the first 4, and she is over there, big crowd looking at her as they get her washed down. And just quickly, Barathea, Luca Kamani said that ran absolutely cracker there. The horse will now revert to the mile in the Sussex Stakes, but then could well come back to 6 furlongs. It's quite a horse, that Barathea, who in the end finished 4th.
Pedigree-wise, Owington is very much his sire's son. Green Desert won this in 1986, the July Cup. He was also successful in the July Stakes as a 2-year-old. The Damn Old Doomsday book was raced for Lord Derby. In fact, when this horse was sold as a yearling, he was in fact named Registrar, which obviously was changed. And the Grand Dam Broken Record was also Lord Derby's. She was a really wonderful, tough, consistent, middle-distance staying handicapper trained by John Winter.
Family Eddery here. Sally and Charles, and the proud father is with us now. Paul Eddery, congratulations.
Thanks.
Back after Cadeau Genero 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
That lovely phrase, likes to win the July Cup.
Well, yeah, you like doing it every year.
And you hurt your lip.
Yeah, he gave it me.
These things happen. But a race which everyone was looking forward to so much, presumably most of all you, was a bit of a wonder spare ride.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I rode him a lot of work last year, and I've always rated him top-class colt, and I was very excited.
And in a sense, you knew it was going to be a blaze. Did the speed, was it very noticeable, the speed, or was he always coping very well?
No, I mean, there's not a lot that would lead him fast enough, really. He's got very high cruising speed. And once I got him settled and I started moving up, it was all over. And he went up there, furlong out, he was cantering behind us.
We can look at it here. At Lock Song, you could you see every your position?
I really didn't. Well, really, to be honest, I wasn't too worried about her. I was more worried about Catrail and Dolphin Street. I mean, obviously she's a very high-class filly, but I think in a race like this, 6 furlongs, it just stretches her, which it did last year. And I was just quite happy to sit in and bide my time.
When you're going that pace, it's a nice phrase, biding your time, but that's exactly what you're doing.
Yes, I mean, he's a bit like Cadeau General in the sense that he can cruise along at a big high cruising speed and he can quicken up. And if you watch here, I'm just sitting and waiting to pounce.
And Paul, you're actually the winner at 5 furlongs, aren't you? He'll come out to the furlong pole now.
He'd win 5 or 6. He's got class, And you can see here he's picked up really well. And he just idled a little bit in front when I got there.
Because the other horse comes up the rail, Dolphin Street, some way from you.
Yes, he does.
And actually gets quite close. How narrow was it going to look to you?
Well, I honestly didn't think it was that close. But he did. He picked, but my horse wasn't doing a lot, and he was a long way away from me. They're both 2 high-class horses.
You ride lots of horses, all sorts of animals, 40, 48 winners already this season. But how different is it to sit on a horse like him? Is he very different to the ordinary horse?
Well, you always know a good horse when you sit on one. And when I first rode him as a 2-year-old, I knew he was a high-class colt. It's not that difficult, really. When you get on a good one, you know.
Well, you made it look easy. What about Sally and Charles? Did you like to see Daddy, did you?
Who's the best jockey? Frank.
Frankie's the best jockey. That's not very nice. I think Daddy's just as good as Frankie, don't you think? Oh, yeah, it's a good nod. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
SP from Redcar.
Redcar, the 350. First number 1, Mondragon, 4-1. Second number 6, Great Oration, 7-4 favourite. And third number 5, Opus 1, returned at 6-1. The tote returns win £4.40, places 160 and 110. The dual forecast came to £6.80. The non-runner here was number 3 and 5 round.
Findings will be posted on the notice wall.
Willie Carson's seen big days and moderate days, and this didn't work out, Willie. Was it, how early was it clear that it wasn't going to work?
Everything was fine. She was hanging away from the rail, as you can see in the film. Possibly was hanging on to her a bit, hoping to get home to the line, but she doesn't get the 6. Very simple.
And there was
She's
absolutely
all right.
nothing, people sort of worried, there's nothing wrong with her after anything like that, came back quite sound.
She got to the furlong, and she got to the half furlong within 2 lengths of the horses, and then I've actually sort of left her alone.
She's very sharp out of the start.
Well, she's quick, and she's quick, and there was no point going really blazing a trail, because over 5 she can do that, but over 6 I just save a little bit for, it's a very stiff hill this finish here, and I was hoping that she would see it out. Everybody's got their doubts about her over 6 furlongs, and that's the only problem. She is the speed queen over 5.
Just a moment when you set off going to the start, she was going to be speed queen.
Well, it was a bit unfortunate because we got ourselves in between the Luke. She's got all these horses there, absolutely flat out there. She's killing them now, but it's the distance that kills her, not the other horses. And of course, today is the best. It's the best race she's ever run in her life.
Sure.
And you see, she's hung away from the rails there. I'm trying to keep her going. Look, she's hanging away. I'm not very happy because we're asking her to go quicker. And I've accepted it there because Frankie will want her in the future, won't he?
Well, of course, you rode big winners on her.
As we were saying about going down to post,
Yes.
we got ourselves in between the gates there, and she was half rearing and messing around. And I said to the boys, let her go. And of course, I said that 1 second too soon because I didn't have a hold of the rein.
Anyway, thanks so much for coming.
Anyway, okay, it's disappointing for everybody, but she'll be back.
Goodbye.
Right.
She'll be back, so will we after this break.
What exactly is stopping you buying this car? Could it be the Korean nature of the door handles? Or the Korean ABS brake mechanism, perhaps? Maybe the 5 coats of Korean paint are the problem. Or is it the finely engineered Korean crankshaft? Or the Korean engine block? Or perhaps the Korean computer-designed gearbox isn't as computer-designed as you think it should be. Or maybe the doors are too Korean. Or is it that Korean glass is harder to see through than its German or Japanese counterpart? No, it's none of these. It's the wheel nut. The Korean-made wheel nut. That's the problem.
Are you putting money away for the future? When the time comes for your payout, how much can you look forward to? A cheque for £10,000? £15,000? Or even as much as £20,000, guaranteed? Well now, depending on how much you put aside each month over a fixed 11-year term, you could expect this much money or more. To find out how, just ring 0800 201 201 now and ask about the cash escalator from Sun Alliance. Put aside from £15 to £150 a month and you're guaranteed a cash lump sum in 11 years' time. No risks, no gambles. And on top of that, there are bonuses, your share of the profits from Sun Alliance's Life Fund. And with premiums increasing by 10% every year, your money grows even faster. So why not call 0800 201 201 now? We'll ask you a few simple questions and then prepare a personal illustration showing how much your cash payout could be. There's no obligation and no salesman will call. With your illustration, we'll send your first free gift, this stylish pen. And when you start, this answer machine is also yours, free. Start with £25 a month or more, and you also qualify for a weekend break for 2. So call now on 0800 201 201 and ask about the cash escalator from Sun Alliance. Your call is free, and you're under no obligation at all.
Birdseye have now given their golden potato slices a mature cheddar edge. New mature cheddar cheese edges.
Buy this delicious chili beef pizza at Safeway and we'll give you our Hawaiian-style pizza free. Another summer special from Safeway, where good value comes naturally.
A new non-bio has emerged to wash out more tough stains. It's new Persil Pure non-bio, and it has a unique non-bio cleaning system that works first time. New Persil Pure non-bio ships more tough stains first time, first wash.
You know, I do my part to help the environment. I put all my empty Holston pills in the bottle bank. Every month I get a statement. All sugar turns to alcohol. But, oh, well, on with the recycling.
Thanks for rejoining us. Now, what you're missing at home is the crowd's reaction to every horse race. It is something special, and it certainly was with the July Cup. Now, they've got this great big diamond vision screen out in the centre of the course, and a great gasp went up as Locksong burst out of the stalls, but suddenly, after about a furlong and a half and 2 furlongs, there were kind of ominous whispers going round. She wasn't going to make it. She wasn't dominating the opposition. And the crowd watching, as so many do, not the professionals, they watch through their glasses, of course, but we ordinary common people, through the tremendous advantage, that diamond vision screen, a great advance, and it made the difference to the race. As for the bookmakers, they're actually saying, the bookmakers are saying that as far as they're concerned, it depends how it hit them. They went around 3 to 1, 7 to 2, each of 4. 2 losers most books had. Most of them had Locksong as a loser, though, of course, Locksong would have been a terrible result. Owington, they're not grumbling too much for that. And just to give you an early move here, the favourite Belfry Green, number 11, is 6 to 1, form boosted by Paonic in the 305, and Casby, number 14, be back from 10 to 8 to 1. But if you were a bookmaker, many of them didn't actually mind Owington. They didn't want Locksong, of course, but you're missing at home the great vibration, the crowd's buzz when they watched the diamond vision screen and saw the travails and the eventual near collapse of Locksong.
I've been eyeing up this girl all day. It's a great dress, and it's Maureen Haggis, wife of trainer Willie, daughter of Lester, of course. I like the dress. Where'd you get this from, Maureen?
It's very old, but I don't wear it racing very often because it gets a lot of funny comments.
Oh no, from punters and people like that. It's a lovely outfit though,
Thank
and
you
it's
very
perfect
much.
for today.
Thank you.
Now, the horse, what about Rock Symphony? Is he going to hit the right note here?
Well, we hope so. You know, he ran very well at Ascot and looked to be staying on at the end, so we hope he'll get the 7 furlongs, but obviously we're going into unknown territory, so we'll see.
So does that mean you're going to hold him up for later on?
He was ridden like that at Ascot and it seemed to suit him. He seems to be getting more settled as he's going on this year, so he'll jump out and see how he goes and hopefully just run on at the end, you know.
Well, we had a Piggott in the winner's enclosure yesterday. Could have daughter in the winner's enclosure today?
Be very nice.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rock Symphony, one of 20 runners in this Ladbroke Bunbury Cup, a cavalry charge, three groups I think there'll be to start with, all stretched across this July Cup straight mile as the Queen's horse set the fashion, doing a whirl in front of us. Let's get the full list from Graham Good.
And Celestial Key, the top weight at 33 to 1 from the 2 stall ridden by Paul Eddery. On a Tendon, 12 to 1 for Lester Piggott, drawn 7, drawn 15, Storris, 8 to 1 for Mick Kinane. KV is drawn 18, 12 to 1 with Tony Clark, drawn 4, Rock Symphony, 8 to 1 with Brent Thompson. Dyson's ridden by Frankie Dettori, 14 to 1 from the team, drawn 20. From the 17 stall, Sirius, 14 to 1 chance Walter Swinburne. From 16, Cecido, 20 to 1 Emma O'Gorman. From 10, Castel Rossello, 14 to 1 Alan Mackay. Drawn 14, Sagebush Roller, 16 to 1 for George Duffield. Belfry Green, the course winner over 7 furlongs, is the 6 to 1 favourite from stall 1. That'll be on the extreme right of the picture as they come out of the stalls, partnered by Darrell Holland. Casbarn is blinkered. Jason Tate claims a valuable 5 from the team, drawn 6, 8 to 1 if they win. Garnock Valley attempting 25 to 1, ridden by Gary Carter from 12. Gustavia's drawn 19, 16 to 1 if they win. Toa Fege is ridden by the leading apprentice of the season, Stephen Davis, 16 to 1 chance from the team from 8. Then Hunters of Brora, Willie Carson, 12 to 1. Northern Bird, 16 to 1 with Richard Hills. Ertelon, 20 to 1 Michael Roberts. Milsoline, 12 to 1 Jimmy Quinn. and Set the Fashion visored, 14-1 chance, ridden by David Harrison. The runners are at the start.
Well, there's last year's winner, Untitled, who's yet to reach the same form in 2 outings this season, although he's a horse who last year took a while to come to hand. Obviously has a little bit of a problem with his old legs these days. Stood plenty of racing. Ben Hambury's gradually peaking him, and he's probably the sort of horse that doesn't do a lot at home either. Plenty on though at the weights.
Well, KV's a horse that I like, and he looked all over the winner when he ran at Newcastle last time out, and then in the last 3 yards, I should think, he was overhauled, and that was by Tajdiff. And a lovely big horse, this always travels well throughout the race, and he's gone up in the weights a bit, got 9 stone 7 to carry this afternoon, but he's got the size and the frame to do that.
Torfige is a 7 furlong specialist. We take him now. 6th in that race John's just described up at Newcastle, where KV ran so well. But before that we saw Torfige defeat several of these at Doncaster over 7 furlongs. Obviously he's gone up in the weights and has only a fair chance, but he is a specialist at the distance.
Also a very powerful horse. Let's have a look at Belfry Green, who's gone from strength to strength this season. And Con Horgan, who trains him, said he always used to be a little bit on the weak side. Only a 4-year-old now, and he's a horse who likes to come late in his races, and this is definitely his trip, and maybe a mile.
There's the royal representative, Set the Fashion. Been unlucky in the race that Tower Fige won at Doncaster. Since defeated on the all-weather. Plenty of ability, but a little bit of a character. Had to be dragged round behind the stalls. Wasn't too keen to join the others at one stage.
Storth is a horse who will appreciate this 7 furlong. Sometimes gets himself behind in his races. 1 or 2 Bill Watts trained runners, the other one being Sagebush Roller. Storth ridden by Mick Cannan, and certainly looked well beforehand. Real athletic sort. And Casban, well, he's a much stronger made individual, but he's not without a chance.
Casban, a good strong running horse. He's a real character, and by that I mean he's not predictable. Therefore he's not really a reliable betting proposition, but if he puts his best foot forward, he's handicapped to go very close in this.
Got blinkers on for the first time this afternoon, Casban. Let's have a last and quick look at the eye catchers. Rock Symphony on the course. It was Northern Birds. It was Northern Bird that took Gigi's eye, and Casban, well, there was many for him down in the ring.
And here's how they bet. Belfry Green 11-2, Rock Symphony is 8-1, together with Casban and also Storis. KV a 10-1 chance, Untitled on a 12-1, together with Hunters of Prora and also Milsolin. Diasan 14-1, Sirius on 14s as well, and Set the Fashion another 14-1 shot, 16-1 bar.
9 favourites and 32 runnings have won the Bunbury Cup, and this Belfry Green, the reason he's been backed, of course, was that Pay On It won so well just about an hour ago, and is also backed earlier in the week from 13-2, now 11-2 they're showing Belfry Green. Kaz Bian 14-1 this morning, into 8-1 from 10 on the course. KV has just been back 10-1 from 12-1 against KV, and Storis 8-1 from 10-1. A wide open betting heat, lots of horses backed, but just to remind you, the last 7 years the winners are 3 at 16-1 and 1 at 14-1. Bookies have still got hope.
Well, the July meeting almost concluded. This is the penultimate event. Perhaps the stands not quite so packed as they were half an hour ago. 1 or 2 gone off for tea, maybe for a drink, maybe that last-minute bet. They're the far side of the winning post. They'll be charging up there very shortly. Gigi's calling them home again.
In the pink half sleeves, number 14 Gustavia, waiting for Untitled to go in. He goes in late. Castel Rossello goes in late, and so too Gustavia. 3 to load then for this, the Ladbrokes Bunbury Cup, the trip 7 furlongs. Maximum of 20 take part. Just waiting for Gustavia to load. Should be plenty of pace on here. Tower Fige might be a bit of an outsider. Ridden by Stephen Davis, trained by Tom Dyer. Britain's most northerly trainer. That's it. They race away and set the fashion down the centre of the track. Gustavia and Dyson and KV on the extreme left, and we've got just the two groups. On the far side, it's hurtling on from in Celestial Key in second, and then Northern Bird racing the far side. Well down the pack on the far side is Rock Symphony, and that far side have a clear advantage over Garnock Valley, who leads Hunters of Brough on the stand side, also Storriths. And on the far side, it's Hurtle who's two clear of Celestial Key in second. And then Northern Bird and Castel Rossello. Whilst on the stand side, it's Garnock Valley who leads Hunters of Brough, and in the yellow colours, Dyson, and then not that far away is Sagebush Roller getting a little bit closer, but they're past the halfway stage. And the far side, Hurtle just has it. They come past the three. Hurtle on the far side from Celestial Key. Still down the stand side is Garnock Valley and Hunters of Brough, but still the far side have the distinct edge, and they come down towards the two. And it's Hurtle who still leads the pack from Celestial Key. Castel Rossello. Here comes Rock Symphony in the black colours. Look on the right of the picture. That's starting a group, a run on Attendant. Picks up from the back. Tower Feeds with a run. The near side on the left, headed by Dyson, but they're a long way down the pack, and it's Celestial Key. And here comes Leicester and Attendant. With Set the Fashion absolutely flying. Tower Feeds flying too, but Attendant's going to take it at the post. And Attendant, Set the Fashion, very close for third. Celestial Key and Tower Fish, and these clear of Rock Symphony, and behind Rock Symphony was Casbarn, and then behind Casbarn came home Belfry Green, and all this lot beat those on the stand side, which were headed by Dyson. So talk about you take the high road, I'll take the low road. Anything drawn low had the distinct advantage in this race, because number 2 on Attendant has won the race in the colours of Mrs. B. Newton. 14-1 chance ridden by Lester Piggott, trained here by Ben Hanbury. On Attendant is clearly a course and distance specialist, because this is his 4th win over 7 furlongs here at Newmarket. Second was Set the Fashion in the colours of the Queen, trained by Lord Huntingdon and ridden by David Harrison, and it's very tight for third between, nearest to us, that's number 15, on the far side in the green colours, the horse with the noseband is Tower Fige, and Celestial Key in the black and blue quarter colours, white sleeves and cap, that's 4th. Celestial Key 4th, Tower Fige 3rd, Set the Fashion 2nd, and our winner on Attendant.
Well, Stewart's Inquiry, dramatic incident near the end here. One horse lucky not to be brought down. Obviously difficult to sort them out with just one look here. On Attendant and the Queen's horse, a horse with a noseband, black cap jockey, purple jockey with black cap, both looking for room now. Towards the rails, on Attendant, Leicester squeezes through. That looks as though they've got no problems. Behind him, David Harrison on Set the Fashion, and behind them, looking for room, Belfry Green right against the rails, yellow and green colours, and Casbarn, Jason Tate. Now, here we go. I think as David Harrison gives his horse a crack, well, no, he's actually carried across, but Casbarn is knocked into Belfry Green. Why, goodness me, one nearly goes through the rails. You'll see Casbarn shoot out the other side. Ertlon behind them's nearly cannoned into. And that was initially started by Paul Eddery on Celestial Key, who went across David Harrison.
Well, Paul Eddery, good job. He earned plenty of money in the last race because he'd be able to afford to go on a good holiday now, and I shouldn't think there's much doubt that he'll get a few days off for this. Whip in his right hand, and very, very lucky that there are plastic rails here at Newmarket. Let's take another look at it now, and Celestial Key, Paul Eddery in front at this point. Looks as though he's going to have a decent chance. Whip in his left hand at the moment, Paul. Now just watch, puts his whip down, pulls it through into his right hand, gives him one good crack, and the horse already beginning to go over. Set the Fashion. Ooh. And Casbarn, and look at Belfry Green. Didn't... well, Casbarn did remarkably well to stay up, because he had blinkers on, Casbarn, unable to see that trouble coming, and suddenly got a real bang from the side, taking him by surprise. Just have a look at Darragh Holland on Belfry Green. Little jump up in the air, does well to stay on board, and also Jason Tate does well to stick with Casbarn.
It's amazing that it's only just been announced at the Stewart's Inquiry. You see, but from looking at those pictures, it doesn't look as though Lester Piggott on Attendant is seriously involved.
Well, on a Tondant, 14 to 1. Lester Piggott just getting on the scales, hasn't been beaten here at Newmarket on a Tondant. Real good servant he's been. This horse had plenty of weight on his back as well. Only one carried more. That was Celestial Key. There is a steward's inquiry, but here's the SP meanwhile.
First number 2 on a Tondon at 14 to 1. Second number 20 Set to Fashion 14 to 1 again. Third number 15 Torfige 16 to 1. And the fourth horse number 1 Celestial Key at 40 to 1. Number 11 Belfry Green was the 11 to 2 favourite and 20 round.
Well, on Tondant, a 14 to 1 chance here, and 14 to 1 when winning the Bunbury Cup a year ago, and only the second horse ever to win 2 Bunbury Cups. The other was Mummy's Pleasure in 1983 and 84, and the link with them, of course, the incomparable Lester Piggott, who rode Mummy's Pleasure the first time it won in 1983. So there is a steward's inquiry going on here. Watching on the Diamond Vision screen, the crowd, great gasp when they saw the trouble that was caused on the far side on the rails. Just one question to ask: they've halved the size of the July course up the course. The course is divided into half, the second half not used. That's why there was only 20 runners compared to 27. There was a maximum of 20 today. One wonders, with incidents like that, why they have to narrow such a great course as the July at Newmarket. Why do it?
Darrell Holland, who rode the favourite there, Belfry Green, said quite simply, I got murdered. I should have won. That's what he said when he went in. He was lucky to actually stay on the horse. And also young Jason Tate, the 5-pound claimer, said he was unlucky as well on Casbarn. They closed him up and there was nowhere else to go. Steward's inquiry, but no doubt about this horse. Onatondo looks as if no problems. He's won it for the second year running. Super horse this, trained by Ben Hanbury. He's had 2 runs this season down the field, and Benny really has certainly improved, hasn't he?
No, he loves the course, Derek. He's a much well, he's taken a long time to come, like a lot of my horses this year, but he's a much better horse on this track, obviously.
Strange the way he seems to enjoy this particular race, and every year, and plenty of weight as well.
A lot of weight, but great jockey. There's plenty of mileage left in him yet.
And where does he go? I mean, apart from this race next year?
He's French bred, and he'll go to Deauville.
Oh, yeah.
We get a 50% premium on all the prize money there. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to staying at the Royal, having a few nice days over there.
And now you can afford it after this.
I hope so.
Well done, Ben.
Thank
Nice
you.
winner.
Right.
Now then, if you didn't back on a Tondon today and you didn't back any of the other winners, let's see if I can give you £100. Dial your duo. Did you get 2 of these 3? Owington, Dolphin Street, Catrail. If you did, stand by. £100 to Mr. Bridges from Newmarket in Suffolk. At last, first time we've ever had a Newmarket winner on Dial Your Duo or the picture puzzle. Donna Bird also gets £100 from Sheffield in the West Midlands, and also R. Patterson from Hebburn up there in Tyne and Wear. You'll be in heaven tonight, R. Patterson, after winning £100. We'll have another Dial Your Duo tomorrow from York, and that's where the Channel 4 team is heading now.
And I can't really leave you without bringing up my bebladed friend, for even by his standards, a pretty silly point. The fact that Paul Eddery's horse altered course left has got nothing to do with the course being narrowed. If the horse swerves, it swerves, and whether the court is 500 foot wide or not. If it's 2 off the rail and it swerves, that's the way it happens. So I can't agree with him there. In fact, I think it's, even by his standards, fairly nonsensical. News from Newmarket. Here are the winners.
The 205 won by number 6 Fleet Hill at 13 to 2. The 235 went to number 4 Red Route 11 to 4, and the 305 to number 10 Paonic at 9 to 1. The 340 was won by number 7 Owington at 3 to 1, and the 410, subject to the steward's inquiry, by number 2 Onatondon 14 to 1. And the 340 at Newmarket, the July Cup, went to number 7 Owington at 3 to 1. The second, number 3 Dolphin Street 16 to 1. And third, number 2 Catrail at 7 to 2. Number 5 Lock Song was the 11 to 4 favourite. The tote paid £4.10 for the win. The places £1.50, £2.10 and £1.80. A dual forecast came to £28 exactly, and the computer straight forecast paid £41.99 and 10 rand.
We don't think Onatondo's involved, that we can't have it confirmed by the stewards, because obviously they're looking through the race altogether. But clearly what happened is Paul Eddery, I feel sorry for him, he's used the whip with his left hand, the horse has gone one way, he then gives it a slap with his right hand, and it swerved very quickly in the other way, and there's been a bumper reaction underneath. but in the end nobody got hurt. It's horse racing, it's not absolutely straight, and it can never be absolutely safe, I can tell you. We're back, safe or not, in safe hands I hope, at York tomorrow. Excitement on the Knavesmire, starting at 2:40, the Nestle Roundtree, the Black Duck Stakes. Shirley Heights won that one year. Well, he didn't win it, he ran rather what they call rather promisingly. Got 11 runners in that, 4 runners in the Ralph Country Homes Handicap. Then the Anthony Fawcett Memorial, there are 11 runners in that. And finally the Hancock's Condition Stakes, there are 10 runners going in that. But we've had 3 wonderful days, always the July course here at Newmarket, beneath the beech trees, beneath the awnings. I hope you've had winners, and if you've had losers, I hope you get a wash down like a horse like that. We leave you with the day the Loxon couldn't make it. She couldn't last, but Owington showed he's the horse with speed to burn.
They're inside the final furlong, and it's Owington now that goes on. Owington comes to take it. Dolphin Street is finishing fast. Locks on his feet. Up towards the line, it's going to be Owington who takes it. Owington, Dolphin Street 1-2.
The Tour de France spends its second and final day on the roads of Great Britain. Can one of the 2 English riders win the stage?
I didn't know that. Have you thought about what we